under development by Elon Musk's Tesla Inc. is sparking concerns around job security.
This is not financial advice, silly.
Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Turned up to work and went to start my day. Was barely late, like 9:08. So took my coffee break. Then I got hungry, so I just stopped by the free buffet. But then to my dismay, I heard somebody say, "Attention humans, you have lost, you have not met your quota. Pack your belongings in a box, now it's over." Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. But I'm in management. I work hard every day. I need these benefits, health and 401k. How could they do this shit though? Where will I trade my crypto? I had a second monitor for Twitter. Where will it go? Somebody please stop the bus. I mean, not the fuss, but there's lots of us. And now you say you won't pay me to play ping pong because Optimus. I mean, who employs a damn humanoid? Some new droid for you to exploit, deploy to destroy your human droid. No lunch breaks, great, get a few deployed. Your time is up, human inferior to me. I'll take it from here. You're relieved of your duty. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. It's okay, human, please don't cry. You can always go and become a Twitter thread guy. Make pretty pictures with Midjourney on your new PC. Or make some YouTube videos about ChatGPT. Sucker. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. I mean, I didn't even write this song. I just used ChatGPT because it's way easier. Holy shit. We are so doomed. Robot just stole my job. Robot just stole my job.
All right, a little crypto bubble to start off the day. Sorry for the technical snafus. Starting a little early. I thought I'd get a jump on it. We've got everything queued up here for the investor relations information as soon as it comes out at close for Tesla. And then again, we've got our delivery and production and deployment details already that were previously released. We got our questions up in front of us. And we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about with Tesla. Today in markets, let's just look at that real quick while we, again, wait on some of this. And we're going to be following a few different streams too. We're going to see which one works the best. If you guys look in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see that we have the Tesla ticker sitting over here, down about 2% on the day. I've got my little line drawn over here showing what could happen. We could go to the 200 range. Heck, we could even go all the way down to the 190 range if things are bad. They could be bad. Why could they be bad? There's a number of reasons for that. But if we just look over here, we could see production-related details. We could see the Model 3 and the Y, how many were produced. We could see other models. There was also a breakdown of details coming out of China, and it looks like there's a lot more Chinese-related vehicles that were sold. Again, a little less deliveries within Europe and parts of the United States. So since sales are weaker over here, where theoretically you'd have higher margins, that could be a downward pull on what happens with Tesla stock. So that's one thing to keep in mind. There's other things, though, like there's the Bitcoin that didn't get sold, the 11,000 plus Bitcoin that Tesla currently holds. Those not getting sold is interesting because there's things that could happen. They haven't done any voluntary implementation of the new FASB accounting rules, which at the end, you're not live on YouTube? I'm not live on YouTube? Oh no, did it break YouTube? Son of a bitch, do I have to do this again? Fuck. Oh, that sucks. It's still showing this other one. Son of a bitch. Let me see here. Upcoming, it says live. Does it say live? Oh, it is live. Yes, okay. Ignore all that cussing. You have to be on the right channel. The other one got screwed up. Let me delete the other one. So we are live. This is the final version. Let me see here. I think some people are on the other channel that got kicked off, or the other YouTube stream that got kicked off inadvertently. So I am live on YouTube. Okay, good. All right, good. Ignore all the cussing. I've been trying really hard not to do that. All right, so yeah. Anyway, so we could see FASB accounting rules potentially get implemented early. Worst case, they don't get implemented until the end of Q4, beginning of Q1. Actually, worst case, they could actually be for Q1, which get recognized in Q2. So, but if they wanted to pull a lever, from what I see, their average cost basis I think was in the 32. So they've more than doubled their money. So they could technically recognize those, I think, now and help out their profits quite a bit for the quarter. It would be awesome if they did it because it would screw a lot of shorts. So I would love to see that. There's, again, a bunch of Bitcoin miners have already recognized the new FASB accounting rules because they have the ability to do that early. You could start that at the beginning of this year in 2024. But again, companies like MicroStrategy haven't implemented that, and Tesla hasn't yet either, but they could. So there's some levers they could pull that could kind of make this earnings go in either direction. But I don't know which way it's going to go. I do not know. I think it's just a coin flip right now. There's plenty of things that point to where the fact margins could be lower. We also saw that energy was lower for energy deployments. So there's just a lot of stuff that could happen. And let's just go over here. We can look at the press release, actually, the full press release. I think there's a PDF version too, isn't there? Or maybe I need to pull it up. Let me go back over here. Nope, not it. Let me go back over one. The Q&A. Swear to God, there's another. Oh, maybe it's the quarterly disclosure, other documents. I will try and find it. We'll try and find it. If nothing else, I can dig in my posts. So there's other stuff I want to talk about. So again, we got about 47 minutes until we get the release for Q3 earnings, and it's going to be amazing. We do have implied volatility of anywhere to 8 to 10%. So we could definitely see a strong move in one direction or the other. With us already being down 2% on the day, we'll see what happens. But I wanted to talk about this too. Sawyer Merritt had a list of promotions that Tesla's currently running in the U.S. I actually think this is brilliant, and I think they need to do more of this. I'm glad they're doing it heading into Q4. If you look here, it says free FSD for Model 3, or for Model S, 3, X, Y, and Cybertruck if you take delivery by the end of the year. So massive promotion to get people in the door, and that's a $7,500 cost normally, and it's getting really good. So that in and of itself is amazing. We also have 0% financing for Model 3 and Y if you take delivery between now and the end of the year. We have Model X all-wheel drive, one paid option included with purchase of FSD. We have Model 3 Performance free paint option with purchase of FSD, $1,000 discount for members of the military and their spouses. We've got the $1,000 referral program, no limit on the number of vehicles that can be purchased, and a 1 year of free premium connectivity. So there's a lot of promotional offers going right now for Tesla to try and increase sales. Let me get caught up with chat here real quick too. Tyler H, loving the Soul dominance today. Solana's doing well. Danny Guo, lol, Marty McFly, all good. Daryl Bryce, January 1st. If you're talking about the FASB accounting rules, they actually already kicked in, at least voluntarily, they kicked in at the first of 2024. So you can use them right now, and a bunch of Bitcoin miners already are. David Bohm, I hope we don't fall after earnings. I'm tired of all the sell-offs. Things can happen, man. Daryl Bryce, Dave, buckle up. We'll definitely dip today. I don't know if you could say definitely. Wagabond, Yo-Yo Team, Cole Megna, what's up, everyone? David Parketney, estimates are not that good. I guess Tesla will drop, a good buying opportunity. Yeah, but estimates being bad can also be positive, right? But I will say this, I could definitely see Wall Street continuing to shit on Tesla today. I could totally see that. I could see that, especially after the release with the Cybercab and the RoboTaxi. I mean, the event, it really they crapped all over it, and I don't think it was that big of a deal. There is some interesting stuff to think about though. So we do have the questionnaire, right? So let's just go over to that. This might give us a lot of insight, this very first question. It's not great. I mean, a lot of these questions aren't great, but I do kind of like it. And the second one too. So we know in previous earnings that they had indicated that there was going to be a cheaper vehicle that was going to be coming out in the first half of 2025. This was just in the last earnings report. So with them talking about that, some of these questions, if they're asked about it and they all of a sudden indicate that there might be one, I don't know if they'll do it directly or not. Again, you want to avoid the Osborne effect. But there are some questions that directly ask that. So, is Tesla still on track to deliver the more affordable model next year, as mentioned by Elon earlier? And how does that align with your AI product roadmap? So, if he says yes, we are, well, we know the Cybercab, fully autonomous, no steering wheel, no pedals version, isn't coming out for a while, the end of 2026 or beginning of 2027 from Elon, from just the event itself. So if that's true, and they say, no, we're still on track, then that alludes to the fact that they still have another model that has not been released. And again, they've got these huge sale incentives. So I think either way, maybe the Osborne effect doesn't kick in because again, getting getting free FSD between now and the end of the year is pretty awesome. And these 0% offers are awesome. All these offers are really great. And so if they don't normally announce new products, this isn't, I don't think this would be a product announcement, but if they confirm that they're still on track for this, then I think that could be really beneficial as people go, wait a second, what do you mean? There's going to be a $25,000 car coming this next year? And the realization, because I don't think everybody, these analysts are so dense, guys. I know that people that follow Tesla all the time, they're still looking at that note in the last earnings report about a $25,000 car in the first half of 2025. But I think a lot of people that aren't versed in Tesla, and even these analysts, especially these analysts, I don't know that they're thinking of that. So it's going to be very interesting to see. And again, the second question, when can we expect Tesla to give us the $25,000 non-RoboTaxi regular car model? So that's a really direct version of the above question. And then we've got, what is Tesla doing to alleviate long waiting times on service centers? I don't know, man. I had my Cybertruck in not too long ago because of a bunch of damage that I caused on it, having too much fun. My wait wasn't that long, so I don't really know what that's about. Please provide an update on the Semi. What will be the next stage of growth like? And when will FSD be ready for the Semi? And then when will Tesla incorporate X and Grok in all of the Tesla vehicles? That's kind of interesting. Again, I think that's inevitable and it's going to happen, but I think getting an ETA on that would be kind of cool. And then it says, Elon mentioned unsupervised FSD in California and Texas next year. Does this mean that regulators have agreed to it? I mean, that's a pretty dumb question. They're gonna be doing this they're gonna have regulatory hurdles at every step. And again, they're not actually trying. It says next year. So again, they're trying in these regions, and they're probably working with local people. We know that we saw the Palo Alto one already, but there's different jurisdictional hurdles that they'll have to overcome. So maybe that's not a dumb question. Maybe that's going to be okay. And then what's going on with the Roadster? I could care less about the Roadster. I want it. I definitely want it. It's the least important thing on their plan right now. And then what's the plan for 2025? That's pretty generic. We'll see what happens with all these questions. Those are the top ones. So we'll see what happens from there. All right, let me see real quickly here. Estimates are Chris Federal, ARKG calls at 69 cents if anyone interested in an entry point. Yeah, they could keep dropping. I mean, today's pretty brutal across the markets. Let me see. I'll just drop the watch list. Let me look at, you know what, I'll do this real quick. While we're waiting, we still got time, right? We got 42 minutes. Let's look at this. So pretty brutal. NVIDIA down 3.5%, Apple down 2.7%, AB Go. So again, all this is happening because people are freaking out about the bond market. And if we look at the bond market, let me look at Bitcoin here too. I know Bitcoin's back tested pretty hard. So again, back tested to the fib, not the end of the world. We still have until 7 o'clock tonight to try and get up towards 66.7, right around there for this first support line. And it doesn't even necessarily have to happen tonight. That's the weekly time scale, as you can see here. So it could take a while. But let's hop over and look at the 10-year bond. So this is why everybody's freaking out today. This and other things. But it actually looks like, is it going to fail out at the 200? It's hard to tell if it's creeping above it or not. But we do have the bond market going up. There is selling on the long end of the curve, which means like the 10, 20, 30, all of that. And we'll see. I don't think that's going to last. I think it's topping out right now, and I think it's going to start dropping down. But it's a good reason for panic in the markets today from the looks of it. So that has driven us down a lot, as you can see. No bounce today in markets, and Tesla actually holding on better than others. But again, if it has a bad earnings, just like McDonald's, I don't even know what they're down today. They had E. coli. E. coli. There we go. I think I pronounced it better. And they just got butchered today too, along with a lot of others. It looks like communications. It looks like the T-Mobiles and Verizons and AT&Ts are the only thing really coming out on top today. Outside of that, you got butchered. All right, let me hop back over here. And let's just look at the rest of the comments. Can Tesla earnings influence an overall market? Yes. Yes, they could. They totally could. I mean, they're a part of the Magnificent Seven. They're like the bastard child of it right now. But if they beat on earnings, even if it's like a technical beat because of FASB accounting rules and making some profit off the Bitcoin, again, they could do all right. Because let's just look here. Let's look at what they've again, their deliveries here. I'll go back. There's actually a really good. There's a couple of good slides. I'll see if I can find them. Let me go down here. James. See if I can find James. He's got some good ones in here. So many Teslas. Probably should have got these ready ahead of time. The bastard child. I mean, they are right now, right? For like the last almost 3 years, it's been brutal. Tesla's approaching a major inflection point. I agree with all that. I might have to just look at a previous earnings slide here. I wonder if we have it updated. Let me check real quickly with visual stocks if any of that data is already updated. 1 second here. Now, the earnings data from today, definitely not, but maybe deliveries and some of those other numbers. That way I can show you that. Yeah, okay, they are. So again, deliveries, again, this trend over the last 3 quarters is definitely pushing higher again for vehicle deliveries, and that's good. And if we can keep this up, then maybe we can get that 500,000 number in Q4. I think with all the incentive plans that we currently have in front of us that we just went over, that it could help us get to that 500,000 level, and that would really help with the story that the growth is coming back. And again, a lot of it is going to be pulling in margins with FSD too, but I don't even know if that's a real strong story until next year. We'll see if it is or not. But look at the revenue here in Q2. Again, we got higher than previous revenues. We want to see that continue. Margins, again, have tightened quite a bit. That's why the net income was so low. But these guys are sitting on a ton of cash and bonds. I mean, look over here. 16 billion in bonds, collecting I don't know how much interest, and then 15 billion in cash, and then their Bitcoin holdings as well. And operating expenses have remained low. No real share dilution to speak of. Non-auto gross profits continuing to go up. So it's gonna be really interesting. And I know too, we should have roughly, hopefully within 10 minutes after the release, we'll have visual stocks updated as well. But it's just a matter of, can they show that they're back in growth mode despite all the headwinds that have been happening in the auto sector. And again, the PE ratio is almost under 70. If we get a rough day today, it could actually be in the 60s, and that's one of the lowest numbers. When this thing hit its peak, guys, years ago, and let's just pull that up real quick here. When this thing hit its peak years ago, look at how much higher the PE ratio was. If we just enlarge this here. Look at when the stock was climaxing or getting there, right? Like this was when it was still like 235, so close to what it is right now. Look at what the PE ratio was then, 1120. And then by the time the stock peaked out around, this is on the daily time frames, 360. It was actually in the 400s, but this gives you a rough idea. This might be weekly too. Yeah, it's weekly. Or something like that. But so actually we peaked out around 1400. It doesn't show it here, but we peaked out at 1400. And if you look over even in here on 331 of 2022, when it was in the 360 range, the PE was still 146. So comparatively, where we are right now in this range is low compared to where we have been in this stock. So it's just not the same. All right, let me see what else we got here. So we're still around 2%. It looks like heading into close. Still have about 30 minutes until that happens. I never thought in a million years I'd be getting 2024 Tesla. I'm excited. What are you getting? Does anyone know how long the 0% offer? Till the end of the year, Ryan. So you could get it until the end of the year. And you could use my referral code and get $1,000 off. I think even if my referral code is used up for the year, at least with my 10 referrals, but I think I don't get credit for the $500, but you can at least still get that $1,000 credit. So if you want one, let me know. What 616? 616. Oh, on X. Martin Pillich starting early. Nice. Thank you for the stream. 716 viewers on X. Awesome. Yeah, sorry the stream started off so rough, guys. Tezos, Mayhem, feels like Tesla will drop no matter what because it looks like there is a lot of FUD out there. There is a lot of FUD. But again, sometimes that's reverse psychology and it actually ends up doing the opposite, right? When everybody's expecting one thing, when they get that outcome all the time, the markets will go the other way. I'd say the markets have definitely not been buying. And again, I've had my projection over here for it to drop down to 200 or even the 190s for like a couple of weeks now. So, but it doesn't have to happen. It's actually the way it's starting to look, guys. If you look over here, if we don't get a major crush because of just horrific earnings, this is actually starting to form into like a bull flag. It all depends on what the reaction is to earnings today. So if it isn't bad, then we could launch up and we could close the gap over here at 230 too. It just all depends on what happens with these earnings. Was the Cybertruck ramp really good? Was it really good? If it's really good, and they made good margins. I know with me, I have bought like every product you can buy for the Cybertruck. Like everything, man. I don't have the rack yet because they haven't released it yet. But man, do I have everything else. And there's a lot of stuff you could buy. I got the spare tire. Well, how much was that? $1,500. Let me look here. I'll just show you some of the crap you can get. I'll actually probably pull it up over here first and log into my account, and then I'll just show you guys what some of this stuff looks like. But there are so many things you can get on the Tesla website, and I own just about all of them. How many other people have done that? How many other people, again, people paid for the Foundation series. They paid 20 grand more, essentially, or bought FSD and some additional crap, and then pay like an extra $11,000, $12,000, whatever. It doesn't really matter, but either way, again, they paid a lot more. So let me see here real quick. I'll see my products. Let me see, where is the purchase part on this part of the site? Oh, So I'm just digging around at shop. There we go. Shop. Let's look at Cybertruck stuff. I will pull this back over. So again, there's so much crap. There's a $700 water cooler. I'd probably buy that, but I already have a bunch of other crap. There's this Cybertruck tailgate shield. There's the Cybertruck jump seats. There's the mats, but again, with Foundation series, everybody pretty much got those. There's nets. There's pet liners. I bought this, $250. It sits under the seat. It allows me to store stuff. I got this, the sun cover. I got a bunch of crap. I didn't get the tent. Admittedly, I didn't get the tent. I will get the rack as soon as it's available. I got this little stuff for the back to keep it from scratching. I bought these mud flaps. Don't even like them. Not even going to use them. I bought this thing, but I screwed it up trying to put it on. That was a $55 waste. I bought this, the Cybertruck Vault Cargo Divider. I bought these, the Malay panels or whatever, however you pronounce it. I didn't get these, but I got a bunch of other stuff here. I got this. That was $1,250. I got the snow chains. I don't know. There's probably a bunch more stuff. There's a bunch of other miscellaneous crap. But again, so with Tesla, you can definitely spend a lot of money. And the question is how many other people were doing that? How many other people were buying everything that you can buy from Tesla? My guess is it's a decent amount because these are early adopters. But we shall see soon enough. We got about 30 minutes and that'll be coming out. All right, let me see what else we got here. Wonder if shuffling off their BTC is any indication of a BTC announcement. I know I'm dreaming. I doubt they'd be buying Bitcoin right here. They've got so much other stuff to do with their money. Now, again, they've got a ton sitting in bonds. They've got billions of dollars sitting in bonds. They're going to be earning interest off of that. Shale said, or Joanne said, can you hit on the potential short squeeze for Tesla? I mean, there is the potential for a short squeeze. Again, implied volatility gives us 8 to 10% in either direction. So I don't think a lot of people are ready for Tesla to go up. So I think that would be a really quick movement if it turned out to be okay. But either way, though, I don't know. I have this hunch that we're going down before we go up. And when I say this, guys, for people who aren't normally here, I say that with like not quite $1 million, but probably like $850,000 to $900,000 in Tesla calls right now between all of my accounts. And today has been a brutal day. I'm down, well, I guess I'm not down too much, 5.62% on those. So when I say that, I say it with a vested interest in it going up. I would prefer that it go up, but it doesn't have to. That does not have to happen. Seoul is breaking out. Yeah, Seoul's up 2% today. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. I cannot believe that. So let's just hop over here real quick. Let me pull up Solana. So it's nice to see though, and again, it's nice to see Solana breaking out when the rest of Bitcoin and crypto world is not. Let me see. Do I just have it under Sol? Yes, Sol USD. So it is breaking out. It looks good. It's up almost 2%. I won't say breaking out. It needs to get up to 179, but I mean, heck, it's one of the only things going up. The rest of the market, if we look at the crypto world, guys, pretty abysmal on the day. Let's just look over here. So again, sea of red, only two things up. Optimism, a layer 2 on Ethereum, and Solana. Everything else getting brutalized. So definitely a good day for Solana. Does not hurt to be Solana today. Let me just keep it on the heat map here. Let's see how much uglier that gets. Chris Federal, is the Foundation series numbered like a replica of an original? Yes, they do have numbers. And the Foundation series, again, you're going to have etchings on like the dash. You're going to have etchings on the doors. You're going to have, if you got the Cyber Beast, you got an emblem of like the tri-headed Cyber Beast on the back. So there's very unique identifiers to the Foundation series, and that's done now. To clarify, too, for people who don't understand this, so they didn't roll through all the 2 million plus pre-orders, okay? That didn't happen. So what happened is they let all those people have the opportunity to buy the Foundation series, and if they didn't take that opportunity up, like me, then they basically they dumped all the rest, but they still have the data showing everybody that pre-ordered. And then they said, okay, we're done with the Foundation series. Now, if you really want it, you can have it. And if you were pre-ordered already, you'll take priority over other people. So if you pre-ordered, you have the opportunity to buy right now at that reduced rate for the Cybertruck, which again is quite a bit cheaper. Let me just jump back over here. So we'll get out of this section. We'll go to buying a Cybertruck. And just see what that looks like. Let's go down here so you can order now. And the numbers look a lot better here. So again, the all-wheel drive, and it shows you the cash. The cash version of this right now is $74,490. It says includes 5-year gas savings. So it's 80 grand basically for the all-wheel drive, and it's 100 for the Cyber Beast. And then you can reserve the range extender today for $2,000. This is with getting these piddly core wheel covers. That looks ugly to me. I would definitely want the all-wheel. And so immediately you're adding, so to get the ones that I have for the wheels, you're already adding $3,500. So you're already paying $83,500 right away just doing that. Then you get tactical gray. If you wanted to get the white like I have, then that costs another $2,000. And so it adds up really quickly. If you want FSD, it's $8,000. And then when you get all the charging stuff, so it starts going up pretty quickly. And then there's a bunch of other accessories you can get. So in a very, very quick fashion, the price starts going up on this thing. All right, what else we got? Needs 55 says hit the like button. I agree with that. People are talking about Soul Strategies. Soul Strategies, I think, is like 500% premium or something right now. It's an insane number. I wouldn't even look at that stuff like that. Let me jump back over here. We'll look at how this is going. What's up, everyone? What's up, Cole Megna? All right, keep going down here. Sure, it dips 80% of the time. It does. I mean, historically, it has. That's true. I mean, it depends on what you're talking about, right? There's that period in Tesla's history. Let's just go back here. Let me pull up Tesla real quick. So you could say that, and that is true. In recent history, that's 100% true. You're more likely to have an earnings that sucks. And this, I don't know that this is going to be the good one. We're still down, guys. We're still down 48% from the all-time high almost 3 years ago, right? But there's other earnings that didn't do bad, right? There's other earnings that did not do bad and that went up a shit ton. Like here. So again, there were periods of times where they did really well. Let's see, right over, was it here where it went up? Yeah, so right over here it dropped and then it just went up like a rocket ship. And then here, Here too? Yeah, here too. It also went up like a rocket ship. So again, it just depends on where the company is at in its cycle, and you can end up making a lot out of it. Now, the thing I like to remind people of is that I call it the 4 phases of consolidation, but essentially, I wish this showed better. But if you look over here, we had one period of, what is it? A bunch of days, 146 bars it says in here. What is it in days? It doesn't actually show in this one, but this one's 909 days up here in phase 2, and then this one up in phase 3 was 917, and then up here we've been in this range for over 1,000 days now, roughly, probably more than that. And we've been consolidating sideways after a massive move. I mean, a 3,200% move from where we were at the bottom of the middle of 2019 all the way to the top. A little over 2 years later, right around 2 years later in 2021. So we had a hell of a move, but we've been consolidating for a long time, and I think people need to take that into consideration. The real question out of today is, were they able to have decent profits? If they beat in any way, and it sounds like they're not. If you look at Troy Teslike, let me actually just pull up his earnings real quick here. His latest guidance, and he's pretty accurate sometimes. I haven't looked at James Stevenson's. We'll have to look at his too. But let's look. Troy Teslike? Yeah, there we go. Troy Teslike. Here's his earnings report. So let's just look at it here. So he says, "Hi everyone, here's my detailed calculation for Tesla's Q3 2024 earnings." And again, he has a pretty good hit ratio. He says his estimate is a miss at 55 cents EPS, earnings per share. Analyst consensus is around 60 cents. I don't know if that's what it is currently. Let's just look over here and see if it tells us. What does it say in TradingView? It says consensus is at 59.3 cents. So yeah, pretty darn close. But he thinks they're going to miss. He says Tesla's missed the non-GAAP EPS consensus for the last 4 quarters, and I estimate another miss this quarter by 5 cents. Automotive gross margin, excluding regulatory credits, his expectation is 14.9%. Or I'm sorry, analysts are 14.9. His is 14. Overall gross margin analyst consensus is 16.9, and he says his is 16.5. And then he shows a breakdown. So let's just look at it here. So Q3 2024, it says research and development. He's got about $1 billion. SG&A, selling, general, and administrative. He's got about 1.275. So similar to previous quarter. It seems to kind of be a clone. And it's kind of the average here too. So I guess that probably makes sense. Operating income, he has a slight tick up. Again, nothing crazy here. It's not really outside. Net income gap is where he shows, he shows an increase, 1.588 billion. Stock-based comp is about the same in line, lower than previous quarters. Shares outstanding, he doesn't see much of a change there. But yeah, if we go to the top over here, total automotive revenue, he has over $20 billion. Roughly in line with consensus, a little bit less, about 160 million less, or I'm sorry, 140 million less. And then automotive sales and leasing, he's got his number in here. Regulatory credits, he's got his number in here. It's less than last quarter from what he's saying. Energy generation and storage is significantly less, and we know that they delivered a lot less, so that would make sense. And then services and other, he has that a little bit less, a little lower than last quarter. So his estimates aren't crazy. They're not crazy. Cost of revenue, he's saying more for automotive sales and leasing. That's probably just with all the incentives that are out there. Energy generation and storage, he's showing the cost of revenues to go down. And then services and others, he shows down a little bit for the cost of revenue. I don't know. These estimates aren't nuts. He could be right. Obama singing "Lose Yourself" was so weird. I don't even want to know what that's about. Let's check real quickly. I want to see what James Stevenson, I want to see if he has anything too. He's the gentle giant. I love this guy. There we go. Let's see what he has for estimates here. Does he have a breakdown? October 18th, even before unveiling the Robovan, Tesla was taking the competition to school. This might be a good video to watch. But let's see here. 5 hours ago, Tesla releases Q3 earnings this afternoon. If you can't wait, start your pregame festivities on my August forecast video. Ooh, this is probably long. Let's take a look, though. I'm curious. It's 9 minutes.
Hello, friends.
I love James. This guy, he doesn't look like he would be a giant, but he's a very tall dude. He towers over everybody else in the Tesla community, and he's just a really, really nice guy. It looks like we're recovering in Tesla a little bit. We're down 1.73%, so it is getting a little bit of a bounce into close. I wonder if the broader market is. But let's see what he has to say here. I'll probably run him at. He's a little slow in his talking. Brilliant guy. I'm probably going to try him at least 1.25. Might switch it to 1.5.
James Stevenson and Loki back with another
That's pretty
episode
good.
of What's in James's Forecast Now. It's been a long time, I feel like, since I've made any forecast review videos. And Loki is exhausted from having done all the work making the forecast. I'm just here to share with you the story and the charts behind the forecast for my Tesla earnings expectations for the rest of this year and into next year. And if Loki runs back over to his bed, you'll see what he's doing in the Loki cam over there. But until then, let me share my desktop with you and show you the charts that I will be posting to.
Real quickly, Drew S says, what percentage of FSD trials convert to paying subscriptions? I have no idea. I would love to know that number. These are things that I hope they start broadcasting more of. I think it would be a really huge move if that's something they started to telegraph. I think that the markets could get really excited if they started to see more details about FSD and what kind of conversion rates they get, like showing progress. Even if the number is low to start off with, if they've got some charts that show how much the take rate is increasing, that would be, if it's a good number, that would be great. We really have no visibility into it, and I hope they start doing more of that. That in and of itself, if they just start doing breakdowns for like more of the autonomous, section of this and showing us how those break down and showing growth, strong growth, that would be huge. Tesla hoarder alert. Are you talking about me? I do have a lot of Tesla options. I could buy a lot of Tesla. And I'm willing to put a lot more money into it, man. I'll drop, if this thing goes down and Bitcoin or PayPal or Robinhood or any of these others remain resilient and start picking up and taking off, because again, we're going to get earnings coming up for those too here soon. I would definitely move $250,000, maybe more, into the June 2026 330 strikes. I have that much belief in it. Michael Penn says, no, the Foundation series is not numbered. They didn't start over with the VIN like the previous had done with the signature and the Foundation series. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, whatever. They're still, you know that you have a Foundation series and you could see what serial number you're associated with. You could probably derive the first in the line. Chris Federal, thanks, Mike. Roman Z, in short term, in my opinion, Tesla will go below 200 easily. I might start to DCA around 180 or 190. I think 180 is too low. But I've also benefited a lot. Again, I took up over $550,000 in profits off of my Tesla calls along the way up. So I did really good. I think it was up 150, almost 200% at one point on the calls. So again, I've left myself room to be able to profit on the way down. So I'd take it if it got there. I just think that's too low. I think 180 is too low. Alexander Doe, do you recommend averaging down on December 2025 300? I don't know that call option chain very well. If there's a decent amount of open interest and volume, I mean, I can't speak for what you're going to do. If I was in that position, yeah, I don't think that's a bad number. Again, 300 is not a crazy number. Here's the bet you're placing when you say that, right? And then we'll get back to James Stevenson. And we've got about 15 minutes until the numbers come out, guys. So what you're placing a bet is that you can get to above 300, this range right here, and it's got to get above the strike, right, to start making money. And I think that's pretty easy to do by the end of next year. So I think if we didn't get to 390, I would be surprised. Now, I don't know what that contract looks like and what kind of multiplier you're getting versus the underlying. But yeah, I think we could totally do that. I don't think that's a hard thing to accomplish at all. All right, let's go back over here. I'll see what other questions we have, and then let's listen to James for a couple of minutes here before the data gets out. Chris said, I can see the street using it as an excuse that may piss off early buyers as repeat customer. Muko Shackles, Soul Strategy, don't care so much about that. Focused on all things Tesla right now. Jesse, would you consider Enphase 2026? I haven't looked at them. It's just it's not something I'm really interested in right now. I'm so interested. My main interest right now, Tesla, PayPal, Robinhood, ARKG, and ARKG is like a later out play. I'll buy more dip on that. I don't really care if it drops in the meantime. And Bitcoin related investments. Those are my primary drivers right now. I don't care much outside of that. EPS estimate 58 cents, revised down to 25.55 billion, says Shale. Oh, so EPS right now is consensus down to 58 cents revised. Is that what you're saying? Mr. Casper, Jesse, would you consider oh, that was you. Julian says, hey. Chris Federal says 100%. Or Alexander says to Chris Federal 100%. Z's Kodak, I wonder what the margin's going to be. That'll be a big one. We'll hopefully get that real quick here. I've got speed dial over here looking for it. Robertus says, good evening, guys. Will be a long night for us here to wait for earnings, but let's see the rocket goes to Mars in the after hours. I hope they have a good headline number. If they have 2 beats, it's not going to be the end of the world. Victor, looking for group. Me too. Ariel, General Motors stock was up 10% yesterday. Talk about insanity. Way better rally after that BS. That's the way, guys, that's like 2016, 17, 18, until 2019. That happened all the time. All the shitty legacy automakers went up a bunch, and Tesla got beat down. I think you have to mentally prepare yourself for that again. Mucho says, hit the likes. Appreciate that, sir. Yeah, Seoul taking off. Up 3% now. Ugh, that's awesome. I love that. Is there news on Seoul, guys? Shale says Tesla or ARKG, given drawdown on ARKG. I still care about Tesla more right now. ARKG is a later play for me. I'm doing January 2026 calls, but that has the ability to jump a lot. It's got a great multiplier behind it, but Tesla's just like the sure thing to me. Mr. Casper, Seoul at 173, no doubt. Lars Strand, to Tesla to accept Seoul, right? Mob 74, 400 watching and only 88 likes. You bastards. Hit the like button, please. CPA, is Tesla going to announce a large Bitcoin hodl or plans to buy more? I doubt it. I mean, I'd love it if they do, but I don't think analysts would like it. RP, what's the now catalyst? Seems like another inline quarter. I think if they have the question about the $25,000 car and they say it's still on track for the first half of 2025, that would be huge. So we could actually be down based off earnings. And if they said that, yes, we're still going to have our cheaper model in 2025, it would blow the doors off of people because they would be like, holy crap, we're still getting another car. So, and there's direct questions. There's multiple direct questions about it. So it's going to be interesting, man. Looking for group Tesla, Leoracella. All right, so we got a status update here. Let's see what it's about. Leor, you're awesome. All right, got to put that out. We got micro to macro in the Tesla. I love it. And if you guys could hit the like on YouTube, again, it's really helpful. And also do it over here too in the live stream. That'd be great. I think this other one, is this the broke one? This is the broke one from earlier. Probably should delete that. So yeah, this is the good one, guys, right here. If you could hit like on it, that would be amazing. And yeah, that's awesome, Leor. Very cool. All right, so let's get over here. Let's listen to our boy over here. We're going to listen to James Stevens talk about Tesla and his thoughts about it. He does a great job just, again, reminding you how great this company is. We've got 10 minutes, and that's the perfect amount of time, so let's watch it.
2x when I start putting out my latest forecast expectations. I had thought that Tesla was going to be up near the 700 or maybe even 800,000 unit range by the end of 2025 previously. And what Tesla is telling us now is, hey, no, it's not going to go that high. It'll be less than that. But I think there is still some room for growth next year for 2025 to beat 2024 earnings or deliveries expectations, I should say. So up through Q2 of 2024, as Loki runs back over to his bed, These are actuals from 2018 all the way up through Q2 2024, and then the rest of the way across, this is my forecast. So I'm expecting Q3 to be very similar to what Q4 was, right, Loki? I say I'm expecting it. Loki is really the one who puts the forecast together. He's the brains of this outfit as he poses in front of his chart that he made.
You guys would never guess this guy's like a 7-foot giant, would you? With his little tiny ass dog and a Loki cam.
I should get him a little green visor that he can wear. Let me get some of that brightness from the screen behind him out of the shot so you can see him better.
James. Speed it up.
With a little better resolution there as he curls up in bed.
But again, just look at some of these numbers, like the Cybertruck over here. Look at how quickly that thing is ramping compared to like over here with the Model Y. Look how slim the sliver was on the Y. And then look at just how quickly they're ramping on the truck. It is phenomenal, like phenomenal. And then if you look back over here, what was the other one? That was Texas on the Y is the pink. And then Berlin is the green, it says. And then where's the 3? Where's the 3? Fremont 3 down here. Look at the 3 and how painful that entire experience. Like, is that the 3? I don't know. We'll let him explain the chart.
So for Q3, I'm not expecting much different. I am expecting more Model Ys to be sold from Shanghai. You can see those in the yellow shade here. The small RoboTaxi, we don't get any of until very late next year. So Q3 or Q4 of 2025 is when you see a teensy sliver of Cyber Cab. That might be what they call a small / RoboTaxi. It could be called a Cyber Cab. We'll see what they say. But Cybertrucks are also going to be picking up as time goes by. That's the silver section you see me highlighting here. So next year, Tesla's going to sell more Cybertrucks as they ramp up production and deliver more of the non-Foundation Series Cybertrucks at lower price points. So I think a lot of folks who had Cybertruck reservations don't want a Founder Series Cybertruck. They're waiting for that price drop to $79, $990 maybe, or for the single motor.
To be clear, Paul, China is pretty solid this quarter. China sales were really great, but I also think they're lower margin.
If Tesla decides to make that next year, $62,990 or something in that range as a starting price before options. So that's this first chart in my thread. Let me click through here again and show you the next one. This is just the S3, X, and Y models. So that's most of them. And you can see them just a little differently here than the previous chart. So for these, the S and the X are in the red, and the blue, they're pretty small. So in 2024, these were really low numbers. I'm expecting them to go higher in Q3 because they had so much starting inventory.
It is crazy how tiny the S and the X are now compared to the 3 and the Y.
At the end of Q2, but then for that to pare back some and level off thereafter. So good numbers for S and X, I think we can hope for.
I remember when people were spending $110,000 on their S and X's. I think it got to $120K, and then they're so cheap now. They're so cheap.
In Q3, and a little better sales of Model 3, even if Model Y sales aren't as good. I think it was in China that the Model 3 inventory looked a little high at the end of the quarter. So if that works itself out better, then in total, we're not looking at a very different quarter in Q3 from Q2. So if you're looking for the very short version of my forecast for Tesla's Q3 earnings, it's don't expect anything very different from what we just saw in Q2. So if you like Q2, you'll probably like Q3 also. That's not what I wanted to click on. I do have my earnings model behind the charts, but I wanted to keep showing you charts about production. That'll be this first video, production and delivery charts.
To be clear, Alexander in chat said no. In 2015, a P90D was $142,000. I'll let James finish his thought here real quickly, but let's go back and look at what like a Model S is today. It's like, or the X. It doesn't really matter. Let's look at the X. This is crazy. This is how much they've been able to bring their costs down. It's phenomenal. It's insane. So if we do a cash over here, it is $66,000, but that includes the 75 and the 6,500. So it's actually higher than that. Let me edit savings. Can you just take that? No, I don't want to do that. I don't know what that's showing. So if we just take it out with the rough math here, it's $14,000 higher than that. So it's closer to like 80. But 80 grand for the all-wheel drive is pretty insane. And then again, I guess it's closer to 100 still if you add up all those things. So there's still some cost there. I am looking at the Tesla investor relations page, and I'm going to be refreshing that pretty aggressively. If you
So here's one
guys
that's just
if you guys see somebody else get the results early, sometimes not everybody gets them at the same time. Please let me know. If you're watching somebody else and they get the results, we can always pull them up on the YouTube channel until I can get them. So let me know.
Model 3 and Model Y. Model 3, I've kind of got plateauing here some at around 130,000 for the next several quarters, with Model 3 deliveries doing a little better in Q3 than we saw them do in Q1, certainly, or Q2. Q1, wow, that was the worst in a few years for Model 3 that we saw in Q1. But Q2 looked a lot better than Q1 did. But I've got Model 3s holding in this range as Model Ys continue to step on the accelerator from 4 production locations globally, unless one of those, which would be the one in Austin, I think, gets converted to a Cybercab production line in Austin. So if that happens in 2025, all bets are off. Maybe these Model Y production numbers don't happen next year if they need that line to make Cybercabs. And here's another look at total Tesla quarterly production and deliveries by quarter. Again, you're looking at actuals all the way up until Q2 of 2024. So here's Q2 of 2024. We did see these cross each other from Q1 to Q2. So production and deliveries, when the production is more than the deliveries are, you're building inventory. When the production is less than the deliveries were, you're drawing down inventory. You're selling through some of your inventory, right? So for most future quarters, I expect production to...
Ryan R said, how much does it cost to fill up at a charging station? It's still probably a little bit cheaper than gas, but at your house, like for me, it's like 30%, 35% the price of gasoline. So 90% of the time I'm getting charging rates that like I save tons of money.
Be more than deliveries, and for Tesla to build some inventory. And that's what that chart tells you.
Ah, okay.
This one was a better joke a few years ago when I first started making it. So back here, I think maybe I started making it here. I was like, hey, Tesla Q, go ahead and pencil in your forecast for what you think the deliveries are going to be. But look, it's an up and to the right trend. Well, lately it hasn't been an up and to the right trend. So Tesla had its best deliveries quarter in Q4 of 2023. And Q2 was also a pretty strong quarter that hasn't been bested since.
2 minutes, guys.
Apart from this one that was record deliveries. So Q1 down under 400,000 deliveries. And then in Q2, surprise.
What did you say? The dollar rejected? Ooh, let me just check it real quick. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. It's coming down a little bit. I love to see it. Let's keep going.
A lot of folks up over 440,000. That's good enough for the third strongest quarter ever. This was a record quarter for revenue.
That's so cheap. Matt C says, I spent about $10 at superchargers and 3 at home.
Even though the deliveries were third best all time, it was the number 1 best all time for revenue because the regulatory credits were really strong and because Tesla Energy was really strong. And you won't see that in these deliveries because Megapack deliveries don't count as deliveries. Only automotive deliveries count as deliveries. So you can't tell how much Tesla Energy revenue you're going to get by looking at the delivery number.
What? I didn't know that. So we did have some energy breakdown, though, I thought. Huh. Wow, 9 cents per kilowatt. That's awesome, Leor. That's a really good price.
And is that...
Mine's like 10 or 11, I think.
The last chart I wanted to show you in this video? Yes, I will save the revenue chart for the next video. So with that, I will check back in with Loki, who has decided to curl up in bed over there.
The dog's happy.
And I'll say stay tuned for the rest of the videos in my forecast review series for Q3.
Okay, we're going to do something else, guys, I don't normally do. We're going to actually pop this over, and we're going to look... No, not at comments. Don't care about comments. Let me actually increase this a little bit. We're going to keep this open to keep an idea of what's going on for news. And so we'll see what happens here. We got the latest on the right-hand side. Hey, you know what? It doesn't actually look that good. I'm probably going to keep it over here. But if you guys see anything, if you guys see any updates where people are releasing the details on what's going on with the earnings, because again, not everybody gets them at the same time. Sometimes it takes a while to get the actual page to refresh. Please bring them up. And instead, I'll go over here and drift through our bookmarks on Tesla. So we got 20 seconds here. Let me know if you guys see anything. Actually, let me just refresh right on the page. I'll just do it over here. Let me go back one. I'll just do it here because I've got the other thing ticking across for X in case we get any additional information on that. Oh, okay, whatever. Let's go back to here. All right. I'm just going to bang on refresh a bunch of times. So, market's closed. If you guys see anything coming across for Tesla, please let me know. Oh, it's at 310? Okay, good. Well, then I've got time. I've got time. There's no rush then. Let's just see what we got for the latest on Tesla, if anybody's talking. What are people saying? Outside of me being on there. Thank you for that. Idra. We're in full production of our 9,000-ton Gigapress. Another machine in Tesla's red and white color scheme. God, look at that thing, dude. That is just insane. I am streaming on X, yes. I just can't believe how big these things are. It's insane to think, too, that they inject some of these molds and, like, a split second, this thing is, like, molded out the way they do this. And these, it's just, it's insanity. See what else we got. The wireless charging is going to be amazing. Again, I think it would shock. This isn't like a new product reveal, but there are direct questions asking about the $25,000 car and the timeline and whether or not they're on track for it, which they said last time was the first half of 2025. So we closed down 1.98%. We're down 0.3% in after hours while we wait here. But what if, I do think that if they say yes to that, people are going to have to ask, like, what does that car look like? I love this. Is that, it doesn't say OnlyFans. Somebody edited that. They did, I can tell. Bastards. This is the coolest graphics card in the entire world, though. They got these spinning up today. I can show you a slide of that. It's pretty awesome. Let me go over here. Expectations, it sounds like revised, are 58 cents. Troy Teslike said that 55 cents per share is more likely what he was thinking. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Just this thing driving awesome. Where's the fans? Where are the fans? Oh, and this. I think this is underlooked. I think that this is a great thing that's going to be happening in quarters ahead. If I can find it. I think it just moved on me. Oh, where did you go? Where did you go? It's just the energy division opening up. Oh, that's Giga Berlin. And Giga Berlin's expanding too. You're going to have the doubling of output there as well. So there's just a lot of things going on. Let me go back over here and see if anybody's coming up with anything. I don't see too much. We're just in a waiting pattern right now, guys. We're waiting for those results. They should be out here in the next, like, 6 minutes. Diego says 59 to 60 revenue between 24.37 and 25.67 billion. Whoa, we just popped for a second, but that doesn't make any sense because we shouldn't have these out yet. I'm refreshing on my screen. Whoa, wait a second. We are popping a little. Well, who knows, man? There's so much option activity. Now we're at 4%. Does somebody have this? I don't have it. Are people just screwing around? I'm refreshing. We're up. Does anybody actually have a post? Wait. What's that? No, that's not Tesla. Does anybody have a post, or is this just some weird, did something get leaked? Because I don't see anything here. I don't see anything. That's interesting, though. Watch, they're just wiping out people on each side of the trail. I don't think there's anything, though. So this could be just people are wiping out shorts, and then they're going to wipe out longs. We're up 5% now. What? It's a beat? Do you guys have a post? I still don't see it. How is it a beat? We don't have the post. We got nothing. Yeah, dude, they're not out. Just pure insanity. That's all. Is that the result, Ryan? Where'd you get that? Does anybody have a link? Tesla gross margin 19.8%, 16.8 estimate. Adjusted EPS 70. What? That's not. Who put that out? Who put that out? All right, whatever. We're going to look here. I still don't see the earnings aren't showing on my screen. If you guys see a YouTube video or anything, the deck is on. I didn't see it. Oh, it is now. Yeah. Sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah. Ooh, here we go, guys. Oh my God. If you guys see a good post, please link it in chat so I can share it out, okay? Whoa. All right, so let's see. I'm getting excited. What's the ticker doing? Still up 4.5%. Oh, nobody expected that. GAAP, 2.7 billion GAAP operating income, 2.2 GAAP net income, 2.5 non-GAAP net income. Operating cash flow is 6.35 billion. I'll have to look. Let me see over here what we had before. Operating cash flow. That's a substantial increase that we're seeing there. Let me go back over here. Free cash flow 2.7. No, that's close. Okay, so 2.9 increase in our cash and investments. Let's read off the side over here. I'm gonna move this over a little bit. I need to shrink this up a hair, and I need to see if I can get my Speechify to read this. 1 second. Will you do it? No. Let's go over here. All right, let me see if I can do it here. If I can highlight all this. Yes, cool. Cool. All right. 1 second. Up 6%. Why is this doing this? Do I have to sign in or something? All right, whatever. This has pissed me off. What is this loading? I'm trying to see what this is loading. Oh, okay. This is different. 1 second. Okay, so this is interesting. It took the whole PDF. That's kind of fascinating. I didn't know this was a thing. Let me see.
We delivered strong results in Q3 with growth in vehicle deliveries both sequentially and year-on-year, resulting in
Up 7%, guys. They totally screwed these guys. I'm going to switch the interpreter here real quick. They totally screwed these guys. This is hilarious. All these people that thought, oh, hey, it's all bad, guys. It's all bad. It's the end of the world. They're all wrong.
My name is Nate.
Nope.
I speak in American English, en francés, and en español de España.
1 second. Let me see if I can find this right one. There's a better one in here. Oh, I can read this myself, but I really don't want to. Let's try Carly.
Hi, my name is Carly. I speak in American record third quarter volumes.
Good enough.
We also recognized our second highest quarter of regulatory credit revenues, as other OEMs are still behind on meeting emissions requirements.
8%. 8%. Oh my God, they're just destroying Wall Street.
Our cost of goods sold per vehicle came down to its lowest level ever at $35,100. In order to continue accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy, we need to make EVs affordable for everyone, including making total cost of ownership per mile
I love it when they screw the shorts. I love it so much. These are the funnest days, guys, we're participating in. This is so great. So great.
competitive with all forms of transportation. Preparations remain underway for our offering of new vehicles, including more affordable models, which we will begin launching in the first half of 2025. At our We Robot event on October 10th, we detailed our long-term goal of offering autonomous transport with a cost per mile below rideshare, personal car ownership, and even public transit. The energy business achieved another strong quarter with a record gross margin. Additionally, the Megafactory in Lathrop produced 200 megapacks in a week. And Powerwall deployments reached a record for the second quarter in a row as we continue to ramp Powerwall 3. Despite sustained macroeconomic headwinds and others pulling back on EV investments, we remain focused on expanding our vehicle and energy product lineup, reducing costs, and making critical investments in AL projects and production capacity.
That is so awesome. All right, operations, it said increased AI training compute by over 75% in Q3. Cybertruck became the third best-selling EV in Q3 in the U.S. behind the Model 3 and the Y. Awesome. Over 2 billion miles driven automatically on FSD supervised. 2 billion already as of Q3 with more than 50% on version 12. So glancing at the line items, again, there's nothing to hate here, guys. So revenue, it looks like year over year, total automotive revenue 2%, energy generation and storage up 52, services and other revenue up 29. That's pretty cool. And total revenues up 8% year over year, 20% gross profit, 195 bip gap gross margin. Operating expenses they're down, negative 6%. Income from operations up 54%, operating margin 323. This all looks great. We'll look at this more. We'll look at that a little bit later. I want to keep just kind of growing through here, and I want to go through here, and instead of getting it caught in that, I want to go through the high-level details. We can look at that stuff.
Total revenue increased 8% YoY.
We can look at that stuff in visual stocks once it's uploaded in a second.
In Q3 to $25.2 billion. YoY. Revenue was impacted by the following items. Growth in vehicle
Yoy.
deliveries, growth in energy generation and storage and services, and other higher FSD revenue recognition YoY for releases related to Cybertruck and certain features such as actually smart sum and higher regulatory
I wish they would have left that as ass.
credit revenue.
Wow.
Reduced S3XY vehicle average selling price due to mixed pricing and attractive financing options. Profitability.
So really the only downside was just the cheaper ones, the reduced sexy vehicle averaging selling price due to mix pricing and attractive financing. They were from competitors. Okay, that all makes sense.
Operating income increased YoY to $2.7 billion in Q3, resulting in a 10.8% operating margin. YoY. Operating income was primarily impacted by the following items. Lower cost per vehicle, including lower raw material costs. Freight and duty.
Oh, remember that slide, guys? Remember the slide that we went over talking about how costs for raw materials were going down so much? We had that over here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. I'll try and find it. But remember how we just looked at that the other day? I think it was on Trueflation. It's probably right here. Well, this is passengers, but whatever. It was in here somewhere. We don't have to go over it right now. But you remember how we were looking at that slide and I was talking about how raw materials were coming down? That does appear to have benefited them greatly. Let's keep going.
Duties and other one-time charges, growth in energy generation and storage and services, and other gross profit, higher FSD revenue recognition YoY for releases related to Cybertruck and certain features such as actually smart sum and growth in vehicle deliveries, higher regulatory credit revenue, decrease in operating expenses including cost reduction efforts, reduced S3XY vehicle ASP, cash quarter end cash.
All right, I don't want to go into all this. Let's go down further. Vehicle capacity, let's look at what they have here.
Production and delivery volumes both returned to year-on-year growth in Q3.
So awesome.
We also produced our 7 millionth vehicle October 22nd. We continue to add to our vehicle lineup by expanding the options for new vehicle trims and paint for Model 3 and Model Y. US, California, Nevada, and Texas. Refreshed Model 3 ramp continued successfully in third quarter with higher total production and lower cost of goods sold quarter over quarter. Cybertruck production increased sequentially and achieved a positive gross margin for the first time.
Awesome.
Preparation of the semi-factory continues and remains on track with build scheduled to start by the end of 2025.
Cool.
China, Shanghai. The Shanghai factory recently achieved two notable milestones, producing its 3 millionth vehicle in October and exporting its 1 millionth vehicle in September. Costs of goods sold per vehicle at the Shanghai factory improved sequentially to its lowest level ever.
That is so cool. Let's look over here. So market share of Tesla vehicles by region. You can see US and Canada still being, still up. It looks like 3 point something. Europe is 2.5, and China is creeping higher too and getting close to Europe. So that's awesome. We'll skip all this. So we're just looking at the current production capacity. It's a lot. It's a lot. Let's look over here. Cost of goods. So Europe, let's start over here.
Costs of goods sold per vehicle improved sequentially at Gigafactory Berlin-Brandenburg. As of Q, Model Y is the most sold vehicle of any type in Sweden, Netherlands, Denmark, and Switzerland, and was the best-selling vehicle in Europe in the month of September. Additionally, in Q3, Model Y became the best-selling EV of all time in Norway, which now has over 60,000 units on the road.
This is just so exciting to me, guys. Just think about how negative the narrative has been, and now Tesla is in a position where it is ready to break out of a 3-year downtrend. Okay, a 3-year downtrend, and this thing's ready to break out. We've already almost filled the gap here on the daily. We just got to get up into the 230s to make that happen. But this thing is ready to go much, much higher. And if they're going to show this kind of strength, again, just the inverse head and shoulder here alone gets us up very, very high. Very, 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 very high. Up in the 500s. Like, this is crazy what can happen right now. This is so flipping exciting. Everybody that's along for the ride, man, this is going to kick ass. I'm happy to be doing this. Who knew that Tesla was going to be the thing that saved us this week? Who knew? Now let's look down below. This is crazy. Look at FSD version 12 miles. Look at how much more. I told you guys, that car drives me everywhere. Okay. It drives me everywhere. So there's a lot of other people that are experiencing that same thing as we're up 7.16%. Oh, dude, there's going to be so much squeeze. The short squeeze on this could get fun. So let's listen to this next part about artificial intelligence and just keep moving along. This is such a massive increase. This doesn't do it justice. This is huge.
Artificial intelligence software and hardware to FSD VI 12 miles FSD miles. In third quarter, we released the 12.5 series of FSD1 with improved safety and comfort thanks to increased data and training compute, a 5 times increase in parameter count, and other architectural choices that we plan to continue scaling in Q4. We released Actually Smart Summon, which enables your vehicle to autonomously drive to you in parking lots, and FSD to Cybertruck customers, including end-to-end neural nets for highway driving for the first time.
Thanks, Michael.
We deployed and are training ahead of schedule on a 29K H100 cluster at Gigafactory, Texas, where we expect to have 50K H100% capacity by the end of October. 1.6.
So by the end of October, the end of this month, they're already going to have 50,000 H100 capacity up and running. We deployed in training ahead of schedule on a 29,000 H100 cluster at the Gigafactory, where we expect to have 50. Okay, so they'll get up to 50 by the end of October. And those fans, they're already testing those. Awesome. Awesome. Let's keep going.
Vehicle and other software. Cumulative miles driven with FSD. Our summer release included YouTube and Amazon Music as native apps. Parents can now enable parental controls via PIN to apply maximum speed limit, reduce acceleration to chill, force enable safety settings, and enable curfew notifications.
Isn't it crazy how Tesla just keeps getting better, and you just get, like, even these older cars, you're getting all kinds of things, hands-free frunk, revamped climate control, like parental controls. It's just, I love the fact that I get excited when there's an update in my car. Let's look over here. So we got Tesla AI training capacity ramp through the end of the year, H100 equivalents. Look at that, guys. Look at the leap that we're making. So that you've got all the improvements that we've seen for AI training capacity that occurred from like what, March over here to about September, right? That's the level we were at. That was a big lump. Look at the step we're getting ready to take in compute power. This is insane. Lior's got a post here too about energy. Yeah, feel free to share this stuff, guys. You guys are awesome. Let's look here. Yeah, Sawyer always has a good post. Wow, Tesla's energy business achieved a record gross margin of 30% in Q3, a sequential increase of 596 BPS. Despite lower megapack volumes, Powerwall also received record deployments in Q3 for the second quarter in a row. That's only going to get better, guys. Ramp of Powerwall 3 and Lathrop Megafactory continued successfully, with Lathrop demonstrating 200 megapack production, 40 gigawatt hour annual run rate in a single week. As of Q3, over 100,000 Powerwalls were enrolled in virtual plant programs. Dude, this company is getting ready to become so big, delivering additional financial value to owners while providing much needed support to the grid during periods of stress. The Shanghai Megafactory remains on track to begin shipping megapacks in Q1 of 2025. That's China for you, man. I got to say this. I hate the CCP. I hate Xi Jinping, but I love the Chinese people and their work ethic. And that's so kick-ass. Thank you for sharing that. If you guys have more links, throw them out, man. Let's keep rolling along. This is all so good, guys. There's really good stuff coming.
In October, we unveiled our Cybercab and Robovan vehicles, both designed from the ground up for autonomy, without a steering wheel or pedals. Cybercab will be built on our next-generation platform, which includes a new powertrain with an estimated 5.5 miles kg. This will be our most efficient powertrain yet. In Q3, we produced our 100 millionth 4680 cell and continued to progress our dry cathode manufacturing lines. 0. Tesla AI training capacity ramp. Our energy and services and other businesses are becoming increasingly profitable parts of Tesla.
Look at all these charts. Look at all these charts, guys. Let's just glance at this. We can have it read it in a second. Energy and services and gross profit in millions. Look at that. Still on track. We had a hiccup in the road, right? And it's just gone. And then energy storage deployments. Look at that. Q2 is great. Q3 wasn't even that great, but evidently it was still enough to work well for the quarter.
Our energy and services and other businesses are becoming increasingly profitable parts of Tesla, as energy storage products continue to ramp and our vehicle fleet continues to grow. We are expecting continued profit growth from these businesses over time. Energy generation and storage. The energy business achieved a record gross margin of 30.5% in Q3, a sequential increase of 596 BPS, despite lower megapack volumes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm going to make so much money in the coming days and quarter. I'm just very excited right now. And I hope some of you guys are coming along for the ride, man. If Elon does a good job in this earnings call, remember, we could still get some kind of confirmation about the Cybercab with a steering wheel and a pedal in the first half of 2025. That would be crazy.
Powerwall achieved,
and maybe we don't get that, but it's one of the questions.
Record deployments.
It's like two of the questions.
Deployments in Q3 for the second quarter in a row. Ramp of Powerwall 3 and the Lathrop Megafactory continued successfully, with Lathrop demonstrating 200 megapack production in a single week. As of third quarter, over 100,000 Powerwalls were enrolled in virtual power plant programs, delivering additional financial value to owners while providing much-needed support to the grid during periods of stress. The Shanghai Megafactory remains on track to begin shipping megapacks in first quarter 2025. Services and other. The services and other business achieved a record gross profit in third quarter, growing over 90% year-on-year. Sequential growth in gross profit was driven mostly by higher gross profit generation from supercharging, service center margin improvement, and higher gross profit generation from parts sales and merchandise. Our supercharger network continued to expand in third quarter with over 2,800 new stalls in the quarter, a 22% growth
year over year, or yoi. I just want to look at other slides here real quick, guys. Electric vehicle adoption rate, China and the rest of the world. That's crazy. It's kind of embarrassing to see how much quicker China's growing. I mean, some of their cars are shit, but still, some of them aren't. Autonomy will further accelerate our mission, gas cars, RoboTaxi. Estimated life cycle emissions of gas cars versus RoboTaxi. Wow, that's a lot. That's a huge difference. Two-seater vehicle designed for autonomy. Spacious interior, large trunk. Space and up to 20 designed for the Robo van. They're showing off the wireless charging. They're showing off the dancing. They're showing off the hand. They're showing off the 7 millionth car built. They're showing off the power walls. They're showing the factory that's getting built up for the semi. Key quarterly metrics. Okay, here's a good visual. Yeah, wow, that Q3 was just great. Again, the best adjusted EBITDA that we've seen since Q4 2022. And like the fourth best ever. And look at that. Look at the operating cash flow, man. Best ever. Look at that. Getting real close. Q4, definitely going to beat in vehicle deliveries over here. We just need to get that 500,000. Imagine if they do that, what their margins are going to look like next quarter. Again, all this stuff is just heading back in the right direction. What else do we have here? Financial statements. I don't want to go through all that right now. Jeez, this is a thorough slide deck, guys. All right, that's it. Let me check real quickly. We're going to join Rob Maurer right now. He's an OG from back in the day that used to hang out with Galley.
A little bit here in a minute when we go through the financials, because they did say that was all-time high. So as energy storage products continue to ramp up.
I'm going to refresh, make sure we get current.
over 90% year on year. Sequential growth in gross profit was driven mostly by higher gross profit generation from supercharging, service center margin improvement, and higher gross profit generation from parts, sales.
We're up by almost 9% now.
And merchandise. Supercharger network continued to expand in Q3 with over 2,800 new stalls in the quarter, 22% growth of the network year over year. So that's awesome. We'll look at the service margin a little bit more closely too in the financials.
Rambler had a question. He said, do you think if Tesla will go up if the price per gallon of oil goes up because of war? I don't even think it has to be war, but if the price of oil went up, I don't see that happening. But if it did, it would probably benefit Tesla more because more people would want the cheaper prices. Visual Stocks already has it in. We'll listen to him and pull that up.
We went through the product outlook here. We'll just take a look at the other ones. I'm guessing these are largely the same. But for volume,
Here, we'll go back to him in a second. Let's go to Visual Stocks. And then we'll shrink this down a little bit and make it more viewable. All right, there we go. I don't think the PE is recalculated, but let's see here. We do have Q3. Do we have revenues for Q3? We do. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, you can see the revenue isn't crazy there, but the net income looks good. Let's see, auto margins, X credits. That's the thing that people got excited about. I took higher. That's the part that everybody's excited about. Let's look over here. Energy storage deployed. Again, we knew it wasn't, that we knew this number in advance. So, I mean, but the margins on it are sick. Gross margins by segment. Yeah, well, you can see it here. Look at this representation. This is a great visual. So just look at that. Look at the energy gross margins as they continue to accelerate higher. Look at that. What were we last time? 24.55. And we jumped to 30.51. You can see the excitement there, guys. Compared to auto gross margins and services, this is great. This is what you want to see. Just look at the operating leverage in this company. Look at their expenses and where they're at for capital. And then just with everything that's coming, I could see why analysts are getting excited right now. I could see why the narrative is a little bit different for them. All right, let's jump back over here and find Rob. Where did he go? Where did he go? Where's Rob? There we go.
Our company is currently between two major growth waves. The first one began with the model, with the global expansion of the model, by an acceleration of AI software and fleet-based profits. Same stuff there that we've seen in previous reports. Sorry,
he's saying the same thing I already went through. Let me see if I can find, I'm going to look real quickly here and find the actual stream for earnings. I might have to do it on Grok because you can never trust the ones online. This is supposed to be Tesla. Let me see here. Do we have an earnings? Yes, there we go. All right, I found it. And it's going to start in 61 minutes. So we got that up in front of us too, and we're ready to go. Thank you. Did somebody else give it more memberships? Thank you very much. If somebody did, I didn't see. I might have missed that one. I see Michael for sure. Kelly's in the house. Hey Kelly, what's up? I got to start saying hi to chat. Yeah, this is awesome, guys. This is great. The margins going up and people seeing that this company, and it doesn't even sound like we have any funny business in regard to Bitcoin allocations either. I'm going to look online and see what other people are saying. But yeah, talk amongst yourselves in chat here while I'm pulling things up. Are now enrolled? Yeah, there's so many. Everybody's like doing little tidbits from the slide deck. Let's see. What was this one? Despite ongoing macroeconomic conditions, we expect to achieve slight growth in vehicle deliveries in 2024. So they're saying they're getting over 500,000 vehicles in the next quarter. Otherwise, that wouldn't be true. Energy storage deployments are expected to be more than double year over year in 2024. That's crazy. Imagine what 2025 looks like. We're going to make so much money, guys. So much money on these Tesla calls. I cannot wait. Let me zoom in here. Yeah, right now I'm sitting in my main account over here. We're sitting on 654,000 in Tesla calls, up 2.88% since I bought them. So barely up right now, but again, I had taken over 550,000 in profits. Now they're getting ready to fly again, and I don't even know how high we're going to go. it's going to get really, really weird and very exciting. Silas, a member for 7 months? I love you, man. I'm parking my big ass here to mark my territory. Well, we appreciate your big ass, Silas. Very, very cool. Rob's still grinding along here. We've still got 60 minutes until that comes out. Let's see. You know what? I want to see what Farzad and the rest of those guys, he's probably got a couple of dudes with him. Let's see what they have to say. Just to keep it interesting. Oh, yeah. Got a full chat room here. Let's kill their chat and see what they're talking about.
I don't know, with everybody pulling back on their EV plans, I think that regulatory credit.
We're up 9% right now. I love Hans, by the way. Hans, Nico, Matt Smith. I don't actually know Emmett. Invest Answers is on here. That's awesome. These are all great people. I'm going to we're going to stick on this one, guys, because I just want to piggyback off of their work. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and I'll be right back.
Revenue stream is only going to continue to grow for the foreseeable future.
You might be right. Yeah. Could be more.
GM was actually growing pretty significantly year over year. And I think quarter over quarter, they were up like 30% or something like that. So they've been gaining market share now in Europe, probably less so. But I don't know. It's not clear to me that reg credits will be going up based on the success that some of the other OEMs are having.
But to put it in the context, that regulatory credit that everybody always wants to say it's, we need to factor it out. That's over 50,000 H100s a quarter that they can buy. Think about it that way, right? That's over. That's probably closer to almost 100,000 H100s per quarter they could be buying. Like, they're essentially all the other incumbents are paying for Tesla to get the AI compute hardware so that they can then further take the lead on them. I mean, the irony is palpable.
So, I did just run the math just to finish that. With the reg credits at 790 versus if they had been at 450 million, which is kind of where they had been historically, that's worth 7 cents.
Okay, that's not much. Wow. Not too much.
That's nothing.
I want to buy those Tesla shares.
It definitely contributes to the beat. I mean, there's it's not actually nothing, but it's like you still the core business still did, what was it, another 7 cents on top of that? What was the actual earnings per share?
I was gonna say, you factor that out, it's still a beat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Farzad, you're gone.
So there's all these people who are waiting to buy. You should have bought. See, this is what happens, man. This is why you got to be really long in your thought process for what you're trying to accomplish. Because again, people that were sitting on the sidelines waiting for this thing to drop, that ain't happening. So now the people that are invested get to benefit, and it looks like that's not going to happen because their forward projections or guidance is awesome, right? Breaking records for 2024. We want to see that. That means over 500,000 cars coming. That's awesome.
To circle back though to the CapEx point, we really were using that money to build out auto manufacturing capacity for a long time. But I think to your point, Nico, like we have shifted to now using that CapEx really to invest in training capacity and building out the AI factories.
You guys would be lucky to see me in my Tesla shorts.
That will produce the intelligence that animates our RoboTaxis and our Optimus robot.
Not really. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, another very nuanced finding as well.
Good job, Daniel.
People were all up in arms about them stopping the supercharger rollout, but they created more superchargers last quarter than the previous quarter. So
that's awesome.
They have not slowed down. In fact, they've accelerated. Just a small little point.
So cool.
Good point.
Roadster, is it going to happen? Quick around the table, yes or no? I think it is.
I think it
next
is
year,
too.
and will you order one?
I will.
I got my reservation in already, so I'm just waiting. Yeah.
Well, I'd probably kill myself, so I'm not gonna. I'm happy with the Cybertruck. I need something.
I know. I hear you.
I think they might only produce a certain amount of them. I guess. I don't know. I feel like it's just gonna be like a spectacle, like a technology spectacle or something, and it'll make like several thousand of them, and that's it. So it could be like a real cool collector's item for the future if that's the case. But maybe they'll just make as many.
Somebody said, "Hey, it looks like your calls are good to buy." I mean, they're probably going to be up 20% tomorrow morning if we hold where we are right now. Now, if the price drops for any reason, then yeah, they're probably a good deal. I still think they're a great price, but you should definitely take a look and make sure that it works for you and gives you the multiplier that you're looking for.
As people want, who knows?
There was another thing as well that people may have missed, but a lot of people were saying that the conductive charging would be a failure and would result in a lot of loss of energy. But apparently it's running at 95% efficiency. Do you guys see that? That's also a big point.
Yeah, I definitely saw that MKBHD put his foot in his mouth on that one. And obviously, Wi-Furion is above 90. So it's hard to say. I mean, I didn't see the estimate that it was actually at 95%, but I knew it was somewhere in that vicinity.
They said it.
I think it's between like 90 to 95%. I'm an investor in this company, Evo Power, that's been doing it for a long time too, and they're working with
an increase meaningfully. Went from 18.
This,
all right, guys, we're
gonna models, and I think it's between 90 and 95%.
I do agree with that number. We're actually just going to jump over though. We're going to see what Tesla, Boomerama, and Jeff Lutz and the whole crew are doing.
15 days of inventory to 19 days of inventory. That is, and if you keep your balance sheet inventory static, and your channel is up 5%, when you increase your production by 20%, like that is really flawless execution. That's what's getting you these numbers.
Yeah, take a look at this, Jeff. All of that, everything you just said, at the same time, they decreased operating expenses because of cost reduction efforts.
Yeah.
So they had all of that was better.
That's the OpEx stuff. Yeah, that's all the OpEx work.
So
that they did.
If I were to guess, the last 2 quarters,
who is that?
If I were to guess, the Cybertruck I think had a big drag on margins.
That was loud.
Maybe they're positive now, but I think that's where it's making a significant difference over the last 2 quarters as they ramped up.
Yeah, Tesla's definitely the god of that, and I like hearing Jeff Lutz because he actually knows something about manufacturing and cost reduction.
Cybertruck, I think that was a big cost, and now they can bring down that cost.
Jeff, this
you can get 2x in the options really easily.
Lower cost per vehicle, right? Is that like a variable thing? Could it go back up next quarter, or is it more likely that it can keep at least flat, or then even go down even more?
Well, unless there's some external force, something related to input pricing.
All right, their stream's just boring me. I'm gonna go over here.
Maybe it was 80-85% 5.
These guys have I don't know, stronger energy
out before they actually launch, and they've got a year to do that. And that's probably one of the reasons why it's going to take a year before we see these things in the wild.
And you got James,
the charging infra.
And I think you could, to Nico's point, you can do pretty high capacity charging infrastructure in a parking lot where you just have basically FIFO lanes where there's just a whole line of these wireless chargers that they move over. And so you could fill it up, an entire parking lot to where there's an entry on one side and an exit on the other side. And the entire parking lot is essentially just nothing but these wireless charging pads. And you can move quite a few cyber cabs through something like that and charge a lot of vehicles in a relatively, short period of time.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, I can't wait to order.
Yeah, that's funny. Easter eggs. Sorry, go ahead. What's cheaper?
I was going to say it's definitely cheaper to, I think, build out a bunch of charging pads than to put up a bunch of superchargers.
Oh, yeah, totally.
For sure.
Totally.
I don't see any Easter eggs yet, but they're,
yeah.
There's normally something.
If you're coming in late here, guys, the margins were ridiculous. They're really good margins on the energy side of the business. We can show you actually in a slide over here. This is probably my favorite. Right here. So you can see how energy ticked up even higher and went from 24.55% up to 30.51 for the quarter. So it really looks good for the company. Their profitability looks good. It looks like they're on pace to beat expectations for the end of the year for deliveries, and probably profits are just going to keep going up. And this is before they really start to take off as a company. So I don't know. This is a very exciting start. And then if we get any kind of confirmation from the questions about the Cyber Cab coming in 2025, but at least the steering wheel version, that would be huge. That would just set us off into launch mode. I don't even know what we'll be at. It's going to be
pictures.
I still can't believe I missed the event.
I'm gonna fast forward.
Freaking hurricane.
You were stuck in the storm?
Yeah.
Or had to? Oh, sorry about that.
We're
Hope
going
everything's
fast.
okay now.
Well, our house is gutted.
Oh, crap.
My wife gets her dream. We're finally, after only being in the house for 6 months, we get to redo the kitchen again.
And can you even find people to do the work right now? Wouldn't they all be slammed?
I got people.
All right, I'm going to pause real quick. Genzo21, that's awesome. So he said, Jesse, when these options print, I'm going to donate to your cause, brother. Thank you for your knowledge. Hey, man, if you add free memberships for people on YouTube, I think that's a good way to do that. But otherwise, I like to see people make money, and the more money you guys make, the better. But he said, thank you for your knowledge, man. As our first gen everything law, your videos have taught me so much. Thank you, brother. Hey, man, I'm happy to help. That's why I'm here, dude.
I didn't see enough people with the Wii Robot event. Like, they have a picture of the hand, and I think that's a real big deal. Like, the new hand is 22 degrees of freedom. I looked up the human hand only has 24 degrees of freedom, so it's just a little bit more nimble than this new robot hand. So I feel like solving the Optimus hand is a really big deal. So that's a big they have a picture dedicated just to the robot hand, for example. I think they know it's a big deal.
There's two very important things that I witnessed while I was there. One is holding up this little paper bag of caramels or chocolates or something, but the top of the bag was extremely thin, maybe 2 or 3 millimeters, and it had the dexterity to be able to grab the top of that bag and hand it over. So it speaks to exactly what you're saying, Emmett. Extremely dexterous fingertips.
And that was Optimus that you saw there. They have the hand by itself on the new one. They haven't put on the Optimus yet. I don't think that has 20. That's even more crazy. So
there was a guy there called Dr. Nodal, and he said he saw 22 degrees of freedom on the demo one at the event.
Oh, really?
Can anybody correct me on that? Hans, you pick up on that?
We're conflating.
Yeah, here, I'll show you. Let me pull up the.
Who would have ever thought we'd spend so much time fascinated about fingers?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh,
so this was the 22 degree of freedom hand. They did have it. It was at the event. It was in the VIP section. There's some videos of it circulating around online. Dirty Tesla has one that's probably the best one that I've seen, but there's a few other ones as well. So this is the new hand, but this hand was not what was actually on most of the robots that were out in the wild.
I can't even imagine what happens with the stock if we get another good Q4 and Trump wins with what we just got right now. It could be a heck. The narrative could be changing for a while. And when these narratives change, guys, they're cyclical. We've talked about it before, but they come around, right? So they come and go. And we're in phase 4. This is the longest consolidation phase we've had in the history of this. And we just went through it. So the potential for us to go a lot higher, I got to resize these where they image better, but we can go a lot higher. We could go up. I mean, we could go up to 900, I think, between now and 2026. So that's why I made that video, the $14 million bet. It's definitely an opportunity sitting in front of us.
So these hands, this is the Optimus. Yeah, this is Optimus Gen 2, and that's the Optimus Gen 2 hand on all of those robots that y'all interacted with, and that is the 11 degree of freedom hand, as opposed to this very special hand that you can see is driven by these tendons. It's a whole redesign of how the hand works. So, like you can see, there's 3 individual segments here on each finger, 3 for the thumb as well. These Optimus Gen 2 hands only have 2, so basically 2 knuckles instead of 3 for each, and that's also for the thumb and for the fingers. And so anyways, there's a lot of differences between this design, and this one is the one that will be able to function almost identically to a human hand if they can figure out the software problem. And that is
I just can't believe there's a guy dancing around in a suit, 3 years ago, and now we have this.
Very, very, very difficult. If bipedal walking is hard, human dexterity hands is even harder.
I'm glad I'm not in that job. I'm trying to figure that out.
I've done a little bit more. I've done a little bit more math in the background here, and came up with something I think is pretty interesting. So they note on their energy deployments outlook that energy deployments are going to more than double in 2024. And so if you look at,
I don't know if there'll always be a phase, but with the product releases that we see with Tesla, I think it probably will. Like, it'll probably trend that way, where you have, again, like, you're just looking at the stock up here, you could see how it consolidates, it breaks out, it consolidates, it breaks out. This one was horrible because the Model 3 ramp sucked. That's the only reason why we didn't really go anywhere. We only went up 174% in this one. But once the Model 3 got an order, like over here, and we released the Y, people were afraid the Y was going to do bad. Once it started to do well, we just skyrocketed. That's how we got that 3,200% increase. But if you move this up to here, then really it's like less than 3 years of consolidation, and then you go up a lot. So could we continue that trend? I probably, just the way they ramp, like with Optimus coming out. Yeah, I think so. I think that can totally keep happening.
What they did.
So we'll get another big, massive move. And then hopefully the timing of that next big wave as it goes up, it kind of coincides with Bitcoin going down and having its down market and the bear market. And then maybe we can buy that with Tesla. God, wouldn't that be cool? Good times.
In 2020.
I'm telling you guys, my favorite arbitrage play for the next 2 decades is just Bitcoin to Tesla, Tesla to Bitcoin. I don't know what it all looks like as far as cycle right now. We're figuring that out along the way. We know Bitcoin's really well, but it's going to be a fun arb play.
3 combined.
What page, Matt? I'll pull that back up.
It is page 10. It's the last sentence of the first paragraph. It says energy storage deployments are expected to more than double year over year in 2024. So if you look at what they did in 2024 on stationary storage deployments, it was 14.7 gigawatt hours, and so a double of that would be 29.4 gigawatt hours. And to just do a double, that would imply Q4 deployments of over 9 gigawatt hours, which is basically what they did in Q2. But since they're saying more than double, I mean, it could be 10, 11, maybe even higher. But at a minimum, we should be expecting 9 gigawatt hours of deployments in Q4. So I think that's pretty impressive guidance.
Agreed, Chris. Yeah. We're going to make so much money, guys. We're going to make so much money.
Especially if we can maintain 30% gross margins, then I don't know, maybe it is worth $1 trillion.
Yeah, you should put that out in a tweet like Sawyer, just so
I think I'll do that.
That's a good.
Yeah, you should totally post that. Get in there, Matt. This is so exciting, guys. I'm so excited. We're going to make so much money.
It seems like very logical deduction right there. A lot of people probably haven't put it together.
Would you guys say?
Yeah, hopefully you're in a position, Albert, where you can reverse that plan. That's what I try to do, where I can go either way. You know what I mean? I win either way, whatever. It's just, I just have to arbitrage in the other direction. It's all good.
That we can officially say that Tesla gross auto margins, excluding
the Crew 8 emissions docking right now.
Now we're at 17.1 or 14 point something last quarter.
So just to put this in perspective, we've got the Crew 8 mission undocking right now, live on X. Elon is probably playing Diablo 4 right now, trying to see if he can get past Riff 150 or whatever he's at. And then he's going to jump on this earnings call after his company just kicked ass and blew away everybody's expectations. It's pretty awesome.
Well, I think they're going to cut a lot of prices this quarter to ship, 500,000+ cars. I wonder if it could get lower for this fourth quarter if they're going to really try to.
Yeah, isn't that sad? Doesn't that tell you what a shitty investment that Rivian is, Chicken Bro? The Cybertruck got profitable before Rivian. Isn't that nuts? There's a Falcon 9 launch too. Of course there is.
Ship more product.
It's Elon Musk. You got to have 100 things going on in one day.
By having to cut prices more. I'm not sure. It's got to be close to the bottom if it hasn't bottomed. But this fourth quarter, it depends how many deals they're going to give out, I guess. That's my thought.
Man, I just wonder how many people are trying to cover right now.
There's definitely some of that going on. And the question is, can they?
That goes to show you when everybody.
Yeah, guys, look in the bottom corner. We're getting ready to break up past the 230s, in a decent way. And if that happens, if we get above 235, it is flipping over for the shorts. They are devastated.
Think something.
Matt, you missed the beginning of the video today because we spoke about that. It was highly unlikely there'd be 5 misses in a row, and everything was shaping up. The sell-off post-We Robot, it was leading to definitely some type of bounce. However, none of us expected the results to be this good.
Yeah,
you got to start somewhere, man.
The same thing. That sentiment seemed a little too bearish to me, based on everything I was seeing. So many people.
See, this is the thing, guys. This is the thing. You never know with Tesla. Elon can, if you're short, he can bend you over and have his way with you at any point. At any point. So it's gotta hurt to be short this.
It's it'll be another.
I hope Bill Gates is. Now, let me resize this here real quick. I hope Bill Gates
5% sell off for sure. And I'm okay, when even the bulls have that sentiment, that's a good kind of contra signal to maybe what you should be thinking. But to your point, I definitely do not.
How can people move the stock market after close? Asked Diego. There's something called after hours, and then there's pre-market. So there's people that have accounts where they can trade in these timeframes. I never do this because the volume's lower. So you can get really big slippage, which means the price can move really big in one direction, and you might not buy it or sell it at the price you wanted to.
Perspective, a pretty massive beat across like all the fundamentals like we saw here. So there's a lot of fuel being poured on the fire here. It's pretty cool to see.
The EPS beat is 21.5%, and the revenue miss is 1%. So we'll excuse them on the revenue miss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd love for them to dig into FSD in a little bit more detail, because from what they provided, you really don't have a whole lot of information on how much they recognize from the deferred revenue balance, let alone like what are the FSD subscriptions right now, or what's the take rate. I've always been like wanting them to disclose a little bit more around that.
I still wish they would.
And it's just, given that revenues are flat and margins were such a surprise, it seems that we've got FSD revenues really contributing to that. I mean, I don't think the reason that gross margin.
And if FSD revenues are contributing to that, why don't you give them to us? Because those are good numbers. Unless they're just, I don't know. I don't get it. It seems like they're so confident about autopilot. It's gotten so much better. And it's supposed to get 6x better here between, in a week, if they're still on point for that time frame. So why wouldn't you commit to that data point? I don't understand.
Expanded so much is that they, cut out a huge amount of cost from the vehicles. I'm sure there's been a bit of that kind of helping around the edges, but to me, it's almost smelling more like, FSD sales or subscriptions or, one-time recognition is a lot higher than we were expecting. But when I'm looking at the deferred revenue balance from, what they can disclose, which is just their deferred revenue on the balance sheet is all lumped together with all the different sources of deferred revenue. Might need to wait for the 10Q to come out to get more detail on how much of that is split to FSD. But there's nothing jumping out as like the entire deferred revenue balance decreasing in any noticeable way.
So can you pop up that chart again, my one that I'm sharing?
Yeah,
just to show you how quickly this is moving. Not the slide,
place
the
you can trade after hours.
It looks like it's topping off a bit.
There's a few
here at the 232 level, 234.
I never do.
But still, big move. And people have to remember, not all people have access to after hours markets. So it does bode well. Well, depending on the guidance we get later, which I think will be uber bullish. But tomorrow should be a very good day. And that's where you see the big gamma squeeze happening.
One other thing I want to just say on the deferred revenue side, if there was some huge recognition of deferred revenue that was like a one-time item that was really driving these margins, you'd expect the deferred revenue balance to actually go down. But what we're seeing on the balance sheet on slide 27, I don't know if you want to pull it up or not, Hans. It's just a bunch of numbers, but the deferred revenue balance actually increased. So the current portion was 2.
So Joanne Johnson said, "Do you think Elon limits the data like FSD to have an ace in the hole down the road? The more he does, it's probably smart not to disclose too much, leave them guessing." Because then it does stuff like this where the shorts just never know when to be confident. That's actually a really good point.
2.8 billion, and now it's just over 3 billion. And the long-term portion was, lose my eyeballs here. The long-term portion was 3.35, and that's constant actually in Q3. So the current portion actually increased. The long-term portion is essentially unchanged. So how is the deferred revenue balance increasing when they're actually recognizing a huge amount of the FSD revenue? Now, granted, there's a lot of other noise in there, like supercharging miles and some stuff on the energy business that all kind of gets mixed in there. But it's pretty encouraging that they're able to have such strong margins, explicitly noting how much recognition of deferred FSD revenue is helping, and you're not seeing that balance decrease. So one thing that could imply is,
I think you guys are right. So between Joanne and Steve, I think you're both right. I think Elon obfuscates the data. He doesn't give like 100% clarity in the data, because then he doesn't have to deal with this minutia of questions all the time. But at the same time, it leaves all analysts just going, wow, this was amazing, and I don't quite know why, and maybe we'll figure it out again in the future. But it baits them. It baits the shorts, and then it destroys them. You're 100% right.
That FSD take rates are actually increasing. So that would be very, very good news indeed, but that's a bit of speculation.
Does anybody here know the exact profit margin of FSD today? Would it be 80%, 90%? Has anybody ever figured that out? I haven't been able to.
In terms of how much they're recognizing?
No, if you imagine they recognize 10 million, how much of that is pure profit?
I think almost all of it.
But did they not amortize 8-9 years of FSD development into it, or is that all written off already?
Well, that stays in the deferred cost. So I mean, let's say they fully launched FSD everywhere and they delivered all the features today. There would still be some amount of deferred FSD revenue just because they got to account for updates that they're going to have going forward. So my understanding of any FSD revenues that are recognized, it's essentially like 100% margin, but like there's really operating costs that go into that because the whole AI team is like their expenses essentially hit the overhead line, like R&D and probably mostly R&D, I would suspect.
Hey guys, we still have 36 minutes, just so you know.
So that's like the cost of kind of developing the software that ultimately gets rolled out. So, if you sell a car today for $10,000, I think Tesla's probably recognizing, I don't know why I said $10,000, $8,000 for FSD. I suspect Tesla's recognizing around 70%-ish of that revenue today based on how much they delivered of the functionality. And maybe if they fully deliver every little.
Yeah, that's true too, Silas. You want to hide the data from competition too, like BYD and Chinese companies. Also, you want to obfuscate it for a bunch of you want to make it hard for people to understand for a bunch of reasons.
Piece that they've promised, they might recognize an extra, I don't know, 10% or something like that, and then the balance will just get recognized over time over the expected life of the vehicle.
And Mark Newton from Fundstrat was very bullish too. He believed, if I'm not mistaken, this will be the last dip before the big rager to a new all-time high. Did anybody see that?
I've been talking about this, guys. I've been talking about this, right?
Yeah, he's super bullish, and he estimates new all-time high within the next 6 to 7 months, I think.
That's what I'm talking about too.
So,
I've got a buddy of mine texting me. Is this all-time high for Tesla as far as cash on hand?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's always all-time high basically because they're always having positive free cash flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy though, right? Like going through everything that's going on.
33.6 billion.
Competition, just inflation period, all the discount. I mean, it's
bonds are gone.
Especially scaling multiple gigafactories simultaneously. If you include Megafactory and the semi-gigafactory and also the battery facilities and the extensions to Giga Texas and so much more.
Dude,
it's pretty mind-blowing that they're still sucking away so much free cash flow.
They're gonna have so much money. Oh, we're gonna get so rich. Martin Pillich, Tesla is exploiting all the hate against Elon. They just deliver numbers that cannot be second guessed. They can be second guessed, but there's a chance you're wrong like 50% of the time on average. Albert, Elon hates shorts, and after they tried to short the company to death, he wants them to feel pain. I actually really agree. Silas, especially if Tesla plans an $18,000 vehicle. Yep, Steve Brewster, exactly. Dude, we've still got the questions, guys. We're going to let this play along here with them. We're going to keep playing that. I'm going to mute for a second. I just want to show something. We've still got questions that could confirm the $25,000 car. Two of the top questions are literally tell us about the $25,000 car. So we could still get some kind of announcement on that now.
Why this Q3 result is a disaster for Tesla. I'm sure he'd find some way, but even if I tried, it would be such a struggle.
His next line will be, they're cooking the books. This isn't possible.
Oh, yeah. No, fraud. Yeah, fraud's always the answer when you're positive free cash flow.
And busted growth.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, the revenue is actually flat. So
only 33 billion.
The only way to get around with this is with fraud.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is, it's easier to kind of, I guess, grow revenue or grow profits when revenue's growing. It's harder when it's not, which is another angle.
Exactly.
Logically, sometimes.
I'm excited to see how quickly this Chinese Megapack factory gets up and running. They said they're going to start delivering. I mean,
Q1 of 2025.
The car factory, China knows how to produce and manufacture, and Tom Zhu there back in charge. That thing's going to just surprise us all, I think.
Yeah, I didn't realize his background until about a month ago was factory building. That's his skill, not cars or whatever. It was just building factories that build factories. So, and he's brilliant at it. But when is that Shanghai Megafactory done? January?
Isn't that fun? They can just keep shipping his ass around to whatever factory they need to build. That's what they did for Giga Texas. They can just keep doing that. He's back in China to get the energy factory going and help with expansion plans. They'll probably ship him somewhere else, wherever they need him.
I think it's supposed to start producing. I don't know when it's going to roll out. I saw something where it says, I think it mentions they're going to start rolling out the first products from it in Q1. So,
yeah, Jan Feb, amazing.
Yeah, I'm curious, Matt, what your take on. I mean, we're looking at 7 gigawatt.
Sorry to interrupt. T-Rex stocks. Hey man, good day. Rocking quarter. Off we go. Yes, brother. That's exactly what's happening. When does Elon speak? Probably about 30 minutes from now. I've got that pulled up over here. You can kind of see it. I'm watching it over here. It's about 31 minutes. And hopefully he's not late. Elon gets late. I mean, if you did the product reveal, you know that. I mean, that was a medical emergency, so we'll give him that one.
Hours deployed in this quarter. I know that's off a little bit from what we saw deployed in
I love
Q2,
that,
but it seems like another really strong quarter for deployments. Is that in line with, ahead of, or behind what your expectations would have been for the quarter?
Pretty much in line. So let me see what I actually put in my model here, because I never keep all this straight. So in my model, I estimated 6.9 gigawatt hours. I wasn't doing that just for the memes. I did think, I mean, with the way that these ramps. So
1 second. Charlie says, any plan to hedge Bitcoin mining options before the election? I think I just did, because I've got like $1 million in Tesla calls. So I think I just hedged. I think this is literally, this is it. This is a massive change in narrative for Tesla.
It seems to me that Lathrop has been ramping. If they were at full capacity, that'd be 10 gigawatt hours per quarter that we'd see. But there's also a little bit of Powerwall in there, so it gets a little bit messy.
Hey man, I love people all around the world. Even if you're Italian, if you love America, we greatly appreciate it. I love Italy too. You guys need to have more children. We do too.
But with them being flat for so many quarters in a row, it just seemed very logical that they had built up a lot of mega packs, and that just an unusually large number of them essentially took delivery and got qualified.
I'm sorry, is me Kevin short? Chicken Bro, is he short right now? He better not be.
As a deployment in Q2, so it wasn't necessarily indicative of like some massive step change that we would never kind of like come back down from, or that we would never come back down from. So I was expecting a pullback, and the pullback was not as sharp as I'd actually projected. So this is pretty good news, I think.
We're gonna. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I actually want to take a look here and see what me Kevin's doing. I'm gonna refresh these guys to now though. Again, we got 30 minutes.
Why would they do that versus like they don't?
We're gonna leave these guys here for a second. We're gonna let them play, and we're just gonna mute them. And then I've got to see what me Kevin is doing, just for shits and giggles. So I'm not an evil person. I just want to check in on him. And plus, I don't know. It just really pisses me off when people are negative about Tesla. And I might get a little bit of pleasure seeing their discomfort when they think that they're better than Elon Musk. So that might just be a little bit of the sentiment. Let me see here. Me Kevin, where you at? Me Kevin live, maybe? Is he doing earnings right now? You would think he would be. Is he not on here? Is he still on hiatus? Is this him? 9 days ago. Has he been gone? Is he still gone? Huh. I can't believe that. Here, let me go back to these guys. I didn't realize he's still gone. He's focused on house hack, but he is not shorting anything right now. He's taking time off. The markets have broken him. That's probably the truth. Andrew, Kevin isn't short, but only shares a small fund sold months ago. Oh, dude, he's going to regret that, but whatever. Well, welcome, Sammy. This is a better place than Meet Kevin. We actually make money over here, so you're probably in a better spot.
Drop me off at the front of the grocery store or the doctor.
Don't get me wrong, Meet Kevin, he's great at real estate, and then he's too cocky about Tesla. He seems to think that he's better than Elon and Tesla, and that hasn't been working out for him, really.
Office or wherever, and then it will go and find its own parking space. And
Meet Kevin, are you joking that he's sad about Harris losing? Meet Kevin's got to be smart enough to not be affiliated with that, right? He's got to not be supporting Kamala Harris. Please to God, tell me no.
Has said that we will have that by the end of this month. He made a lot of
Meet Kevin sold at the top. He's actually sold and bought a bunch of times, man. I don't know about selling at the top, but I know that his devotion towards this company has went downhill. And I know a bunch of times where I bought and he was talking about selling and wasn't bullish. So he can't be outperforming me, not recently. He did a great job going up. But yeah, he's been enjoying too much carrot juice, I think. That's a good point, Chris.
Ambitious promises about what they would deliver in September, and they delivered on every single one of them.
Yeah,
and
he sold at the bottom.
There's a high likelihood that sometime in the next 8 days...
I would hope he doesn't support Harris. Is somebody joking about that?
We will see a large number of customers actually have the ability to do that with their Tesla. And this is a first ever feature. We did have a version of Smart Summon back in the day that existed for customers for a little while. Then it was pulled, and but we never had Banish. We never had the ability for the car to actually go and find its own parking space for you. And it's going to be pretty incredible and exciting when it happens. Right now with the new actually Smart Summon that's out, you can actually have the vehicle come to you in a parking lot now. And it's pretty impressive. It functions well. It's
it's way better, and it actually has a screen where it allows you to be able to see like from the vehicle how you're driving and how well it's doing, and it's a lot better than the old version.
Good progress.
Hey, thanks for the gifted memberships, guys. Really appreciate it.
And this ability to both come to you in a parking space or to go find its own parking space is a very important component of the overall FSD stack that's necessary for you to actually have an unsupervised version of FSD. If the car can't, come pick you up or go find its own parking space, then it cannot actually be fully unsupervised. And so this is a big thing that has to be delivered in order for us to get to that unsupervised level.
Think about it this way. This is how I see it. Teslas are the only vehicles really out there at scale that you don't need to go to a gas station. They're the only vehicles that can drive themselves. Now, they will be the only vehicles where you never again, just the way you never have to go to a gas station or anything like that, you'll never again have to go park. You just go to the front of the supermarket, get out, car, go park yourself. You go to the mall.
It's going to be amazing. The future with Tesla is so great. Again, it's cheaper. It can drive me around. I have it drive everywhere nowadays. Every once in a while, I correct or do something because I don't like the path it's taking or whatever. But that's going to get better in a week. And then soon, vehicles, you don't even need parking lots anymore. They're changing the world. He showed you under the product unveil for the Cybertaxi how the world is going to change. They showed you robots doing all of the work for human labor. They showed you these wireless autonomous vehicles without stuff in them. This is all coming so fast, and we're still getting the $25,000 car. The beginning of this next year to the mid. We're still getting it.
Go to the front, car, go park yourself. You go to wherever, car, go park yourself. It's the ultimate valet.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things as well that I think are overlooked market segments for FSD. That is teenagers and the elderly who are, let's say, hard of driving or fraught with risk. Drinking and driving use case. Can you imagine the people they just want to go out and they want their own limo driver and bring out their friends, sit in the back of the car and have fun. I wonder how the cops are going to deal with that in 2025. That's what I'm interested in. I had this cop staring in my window down in Los Angeles, and literally I thought he was going to pull me over. He was staring at me, and I'm sitting there. I had my phone in my hands. My hands were not on the steering wheel, and he was just staring me down, like waiting for me to crash or something. It's like I'm just doing nothing. But it's such a different time. It's going to be a radical change.
All right, we got to look at Kevin's PP here. Just 1 second. I've never pulled up his PP before, so this will be my first time. PP. All right. Can't believe he named his investment fund this. No, that's not horrible. What is it? What has it done? That's actually not horrible. I mean, it's dropped a little bit, but this isn't bad. I mean, you could have done better with other things, for sure. I've done a lot better with Bitcoin, probably, and all of those investments. But since he went live on December 22nd, that's a little bit from the median line here. Yeah, it's not horrible. This isn't bad. This isn't actually bad. I would say it's all right. Let me go back over here.
But any thoughts on that? Like those market segments, like if, for example, if you've got teenage kids, you don't want them driving a car that doesn't have all these safety features.
Well, I mean, his fund says it's doing all right, but you're right. Longing McDonald's and shorting Bitcoin isn't totally great. I mean, he might still, we've had a short-term drop, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, he hasn't had a great half of this last part of the year. He's really went nowhere since July of 2023. That is a pretty long time. That is a year and a half. So no, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right. So he had initial luck where things were good, especially up through here, and then it's been a tough road for the last year and a half. That's 100% true. Fair.
Emin, I see you knocking your head. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. I've said for years I don't think any of my kids are going to drive.
I did make 600% last year, so I'm probably beating him.
Have these cars driving for them. That's true. For that, because I know when I was a kid learning to drive and doing crazy things, it was quite dangerous. So yeah, I'm excited that my kids at least won't have to drive ever.
Yeah, or imagine this scenario as well. There's an old people's home down the road, and you want to give back at the weekend. Say, hey, you guys want to go to the store? Take my Model X. Go have at it. So this is.
I'm gonna get. My plan is to have like 6-7 cars, maybe a couple of Cybercabs, maybe a couple of Optimuses, and I'll have a network, and I'll be able to send it out and make money. But at the same, and I'll have my nephew manage it. And at the same time, I'll also allow my friends and family that the people I love in my life, I'll be like, hey, why do you have a car? Here, just use this network whenever you need it. You'll get priority and you won't be charged. And you should be able to do that, right? It's going to be so cool. The world in front of us is going to be amazing. Oh, hey, borrow my robot if you need to clean the house this weekend. Here, you can take 2 of them, guys, if you need to do some moving. That's okay.
There's so many use cases that are very exciting. There was a question also in the audience that I found quite interesting. People wanted to know how much Cybertruck was cannibalizing other models, the sexy models. I think it's a different market segment entirely. I don't think there's any cannibalization happening at all. Thoughts?
I agree. Very minimal, if any, cannibalization. If anything, it's net positive. Is like Hans and others were saying earlier, just like seeing them on the road, brings more awareness about Tesla for people to research it a little bit more in general.
Yeah, I got a little correction.
You know what I do on my truck all the time, guys? I do this. I sit back in it and I'll put my hands up like this while I'm watching YouTube videos on a Samsung Galaxy 10.S whatever tablet, like one of these state-of-the-art tablets, because I put this little mount in front of me, and then I have my cell phone up with my stock stuff, and I just set destinations and I go on a route, and I just sit there and look at stocks and watch videos and absorb content while I'm driving down the road. And everybody looks over like, what the hell is going on? Is that guy sleeping in his car? And then they see me watching TV. So you can imagine what kind of impression that gives to people, where they're like, why do I have this car when this guy's getting driven around in a tank and watching YouTube videos? I mean, that's got to be some really strong advertising. It's got to be.
Here, it's all good for drinking.
And there's more than just me.
And driving, as long as there's no booze in the car. No open booze, but you keep it in the trunk. So that is the law. I think, but it's not in all states, though. Can you have an open container in different states in the U.S.?
I don't think so.
Sure. Okay.
There's a big no-no here.
But with a cybercab, I mean, it's not like you can do any of the driving. So
you can't find it on X.
Like in a limo, you can in a limo, right?
Should be there.
Yeah. There's another funny question, too, regarding the banish. How will the car pay for parking?
Oh, I thought about that.
Yeah.
I've actually put out a few posts about that, wishing that the
let me push it to the top.
Tesla software team would do something about it. It's so simple. It is so simple. You literally just incorporate the app that I have on my phone into the car, and you have the in-cabin camera. So
the stream
as the
should
time
be at the
winds
top.
down, if you don't see me back in the vehicle, you just add time back to it, and I can predefine whether it's add in increments of 6 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever. And then, or if you see, someone coming to give a tick or something, you just automatically up it. I mean, we have everything there already. Like it's not like it's a hard, it's a solved problem. You just have to implement it. Like it's so simple.
Well, freedom options. It sounds like you were fucking brilliant. Who knew, huh? We got lucky. So, congratulations. You went from nervous to life ain't bad.
Or they could have Tesla self-charging stations. It can go charge while you're in the restaurant or the shopping
Or
area.
maybe it just drives in circles indefinitely around the parking lot until you get back. The first few months, it could probably get away with that when there's only a few of us out there, but in time, that won't work.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's only so many.
18 minutes, guys. 18 minutes. I know it's long. They drag this stuff out. It's a rough day, but just remember, this is a good way. This is a lot better than losing a bunch of money while you're waiting.
Like apps out there, like per state, like here in Florida, like most of it's just Park Mobile. I don't know if you guys have that there, but that's what it for the most part is in Florida. So you have the Park Mobile app there. It uses the in-cabin camera. You approve it, and that's it. I can just go park at any meter.
I'm gonna bring these guys current real quick. I'm just muting them, and I'm gonna see what you mean by Yashu here. Okay, that's them. I just refreshed them. Let me see over here. Where did that go? I thought I clicked the link. There we go. You are horrible. Do they have him propped up right now? You are horrible, John. But funny. This was perfect. I feel bad for this man. How is he even vertical right now? This is a cruelty. Oh my God, he just can't even move. All right, going back over. You bastard. All right, here we go.
Be something that's still
Robiden.
A little bit more like a Model Y look.
You guys are horrible.
But obviously,
you know what? I think Optimus actually probably dances better. I'm gonna get some coffee. We've still got a couple minutes here, guys. We got over 10 minutes before it starts. I'm gonna let this play out
smaller,
and I'm gonna get some coffee. Be right back.
That's where the twist is. So if I think about this problem, the new Model Y will look very like the Model 3, which means it'll be lower and sleeker. I think we all agree on that. Every car will have to have the foundational floor, which is the battery pack. So is there a way of, instead of doing the unboxing, which is extremely difficult and requires a lot of vertical space, maybe just front and back and have 2 different or 3 different variations, like slot them together around the floor? But then again, how do you work? Well, they can work easily with the roof, and the genius of the Tesla is the roof is glass, so it doesn't need that solid part there. But I'm trying to figure out how if it is front and back, how they squeeze them together, if that's even an option.
Yeah. I think that those castings will provide some of the ability to do that in a way that is different than what they're doing with the 3. I wish I knew what the 3 line looked like. I wish I had an actual tour of the Fremont factory. I think that would really help.
Oh, they won't do it there. I don't think it's ready. I think they've got I think they have the mimicked or testing production line already built behind that big curtain in Giga Texas, because 1/4 of the floor is like a secret space. By the way, if you can pop up the chart, we just hit 233 on the price. So
nice.
It's getting stronger into the call, which is a little bit of positiveness for the people out there who are wondering what the stock price is. So it's not selling off at all. Broke through that resistance at 233. Sorry to disrupt.
Yeah, I'm just processing the idea that, you know, I had assumed that every line that they have today was going to undergo some upgrades that gave them more capacity.
Yeah.
Except for S and X probably. But it is possible that they are just going to like supercharge some lines in maybe Shanghai and Giga Austin, and then maybe potentially do something with the in Berlin.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking it'll be a front and back.
So guys, imagine this. You got these calls right now. You're probably up 20% tomorrow. And then if there could be other things announced here that bring you up even more. And if you're like me, you own PayPal, and I think PayPal earnings are going to crush it. Robinhood's going to crush it. You're going to get ready to make a lot of money. And if Bitcoin falters while that's happening, we're going to do so well. But if you look in the bottom right corner, look at this. Just look at how we're pushing up against that fib line right now. Hard. I told you guys, what did I say earlier? This looks like it could almost be a bear flag. It's like a descending wedge, and it broke out of it, and it's God, we're gonna make so much money, guys. If you're invested in the stuff I'm in, I think I'm still gonna I'm down right now 25% for this year. So I made 600% last year. I've done 25% this year, and by the end of the year, I think I'm gonna be up 100%, and by the end of next year, I think I'll have grabbed 200 to 300%. So. Ooh, I'm shooting for $20 to $30 million in my portfolio in the next year and a half. I hope you guys are looking for big gains too. If you want to follow along, definitely participate. Make sure you like, subscribe. We make big money here. I'm a high school dropout who retired 4.5 years ago with $375,000, and I hit 3.6 million this last year. So. If I can do that while I'm taking care of retiring my parents, retiring my mother-in-law and father-in-law, retiring my wife, and retiring other family members, while paying for all of my living expenses, I think we can do cool shit together. So anyway, I'm gonna play this out. My coffee just arrived. 1 second.
Together, because the existing lines are linear, they don't have the ability to make them vertical and coming at the car from 4 angles at the same time. Just one theory. And also, if you can share that deck again, one of the things, the bingo card items is a lot of people are asking about SpaceX. No, sorry, wrong slide, this one. I see this all the time. How do you guys get exposure to SpaceX, and will Tesla shareholders get access or a special, if you have 10,000 shares of Tesla, you can get the option to buy Y 1,000 shares of SpaceX, because it's a pain in the ass to buy through ARK or some of the other funds because it's not enough concentration of the asset. How are you guys approaching this, and do you believe there will be a special offer for Tesla shareholders?
I don't see a reason for them to go public anytime soon.
Yes, we do need to retire Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I agree.
I know that Elon talked about the potential for them to do that now that the revenues for Starlink are getting better. But I think with all of the headwinds that Elon has faced on a law.
I just got to say, guys, I hope a bunch of you retire in the next couple of years ahead. I would love it if there's a group of us that can meet every year and have some kind of get together, an event, and hopefully that number of people just gets bigger over time. I think that would be kick-ass. We could be like a little family. That'd be awesome.
Lawfare front.
Sorry. Oh, 1 second.
Over the past couple
Jeez, too much clicking.
Years. If I was in his position, I would be a lot less excited about, I think they have all the liquidity they need. They can raise all the money that they need to raise. They've got plenty of cash flow. They can, if shareholders or employees, want to liquidate some shares, I think there's plenty of ability to do that right now. So I would personally just be very surprised if SpaceX actually went public anytime in the super near term, even though obviously I'd love to have exposure.
There's no reason for Elon to do that, and he said he's not going to.
Because that's going to be a big money sink.
Yeah, exactly.
Emmett, are you in SpaceX?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's your time horizon. I think colonizing Mars could become very, very profitable if your time horizon is long enough. But I think the Starlink is the real
Dude, I'd love
SpaceX,
that, Gary.
Closer term investment, incentive is how big and how fast can Starlink grow. And to me, that's the biggest part of the valuation of SpaceX currently.
And the other question on my mind.
So Steve Brewster said, I was laid off in April with $170,000. I'm considering myself retired as Tesla and BTC put me up to $1 million over the next 1 to 2 years. You could probably do that. And I hope that works for you, man. Yeah, getting laid off and turning that into retirement sounds like a cool way to go.
And they've illustrated that they can turn on, terrestrial cellular coverage through SpaceX. If that's the case, Elon becomes persona non grata with every mobile cell phone company in the world.
We'll figure out a time for a meetup.
Let's
get everybody rich this next year.
Because they will just destroy. You could have your cell phone package and your mobile internet package on the back of your boat or whatever. And that's it.
When do you guys think? Yeah, and to that point, when do you think they're going to include Starlink into the Tesla cars? Is it going to be one of these next models? Is it going to be Juniper? Is it going to be just an option they offer on the S and the X at first? They already have test cars with it apparently, somewhat built in. I mean, it seems obvious to me that
Nashville would be fun, man. What would be cool is if God, I almost want to do it. I almost want to get to Texas. Wouldn't it be awesome to be like in Starbase City during a launch? It would be awesome if we could find like some bars and like some places to hang out, just to host a bunch of people, and then go and see the launch. Maybe in Austin or something, and then drive down to it. I think it'd be awesome. I would love to see a SpaceX launch for the first time ever. That would be a great way to meet up, I think, initially.
You would just add Starlink to every car you make sooner or later.
I think the RFID radiation would be a concern for many, not to have that running the whole time in the vehicle, but that's just tinfoil hat thing concern.
Let's do it.
And you can easily put the mobile one on the back of a Cybertruck, and I can run off.
Well, easily as I have it, and I have the
gotta get a visa for Matt.
Third-party mounts, and probably if I was like a handyman at home, it'd be easy for me. But I'm not the biggest handyman, so it's like sitting in my garage and waiting for a friend of mine to sort of even help me put it on my Cybertruck. But I would love it if Tesla factory installed it when I bought it. I'd pay them, whatever for their option for that.
Yeah, no doubt, that would be cool.
It definitely would be interesting as an option. I expect it to come standard on cybercabs and robovans.
For sure.
I don't know if it would be something that would come standard before then or not. That would be definitely a great option to have on new vehicle sales.
Yeah. I mean, the gaming, the streaming, they want it to be like a lounge-like experience in the RoboCab and the RoboVan. So it'll be, I think, for sure on those things, but that's a couple years out before
you guys are awesome.
So I wonder if before then it'll be an option on some of the.
We're gonna get together.
Especially, I feel like Cybertruck is a great fit for it because if you're going out in the middle of nowhere with a Cybertruck, you definitely would benefit from having that onboard connectivity.
Yeah, I just want it as like. Anyway, my Cybertruck's in my driveway. It's like next to my office. My home office is also like a nice backup contingency for my home, landline. If something goes out, I just plug right into the Wi-Fi. I turn on the Wi-Fi in my Cybertruck while it's parked in the garage, and it works for the house from there.
If I hit the numbers I'm going to hit over the next 2 years, I'm not going to get a private jet, but I'm going to get one of those services where you have a monthly subscription to a private jet service. Wouldn't that be cool? I'm going to do that.
Easily too.
Yeah, it's amazing. And
much cheaper too. That's what Kevin should have done.
I think many people are at the cusp because what is it? It's only $120 per month, whereas most high-speed at home is $100. And I can't remember what the mobile version is, but is the mobile good enough to run your home and take it with you when you're away from home? So that'd be neat. Going for a transatlantic crossing or something.
Would be cool.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, unless you're if you have a bunch of people streaming at the same time and gaming, maybe.
I haven't found a need for a Bloomberg terminal. I might eventually, but Kevin has one, and I'm beating him, so I don't know how much value there is. And plus, I've got a Bloomberg membership. I forgot I had it.
Yeah, it seems like it's more than enough for me and my family. The mobile Starlink would be, but we don't have a bunch of kids streaming crazy video games at the same time. That I hear takes a lot of bandwidth.
BB, Jesse.
Well, so let's recap here for those who may just be joining the stream.
All right, we're getting close, guys.
Welcome. We've got the Tesla earnings call coming up here shortly. We've already looked at the shareholder deck and the financials.
7 minutes from the call, guys.
Big beat on.
I got to talk to Hans. I talked to Hans online, but I haven't talked to him in person or on YouTube. That'd be fun.
On a number of all the most important metrics, slight miss on overall revenue, but net profits above expectations. EPS was quite a significant beat, even a beat with if you factored out the regulatory.
No, this stream is not an X subscription only. No, it's not right now. Dude, we're going to break 235, guys. Holy woof. OpenBB bot for Discord? What do you mean by that? Sorry. What do you mean by OpenBB? BD, can you clarify that?
The rev credits. And so exciting to see the performance. We've got let's see.
I've never heard of that. I'll look it up too.
stock price is responding. The market is responding quite positively to what we've seen so far. And yeah, heading into the earnings call here shortly, scheduled about 10 minutes from now. We'll see if Tesla's.
I totally agree. Who said that? Kyle. Hans is one of the most underappreciated Tesla YouTubers. He's super smart. I love listening to him and Farzad kind of bounce off of each other. What is OpenBB? Oh, dude, you got me excited.
On time. And if you've noticed, yes, Farzad is not here with us today. He's actually, today is his anniversary. So happy anniversary, Farzad and Cindy. Hope they are having a great afternoon, not having to sit here glued to the stock price and listening to all of us ramble.
Oh, you got me excited now.
Our pontifications for Tesla in the future.
Yeah, and I think the big takeaways to summarize, the most standout points for me is a 23% earnings beat. And if you look at all the retail expectations, it was way lower. Everybody expected it to miss and not hit 60 cents instead, 72.5 cents. The other big thing for me was the fact that Cybertruck has reached profitability in just 3 quarters on a third of what their scale volume will be, which is staggering to think of. Any other big things jump out at you guys? Oh, your free cash flow, 1.75 billion over expectations. And that is probably the core key metric that I'm most interested in anyway. I think it was 2.72 versus 1.9 billion.
Yeah. To me, what stood out, I think, is the outlook. I'll let you go in a second, Matt. Sorry, but the outlook, the product outlook, where they kind of reaffirm there's
I'll check it out. Oh, hey, we're starting, guys.
The first half of 25.
We started.
We start production. And separately is the purpose-built RoboTaxi with an unboxed.
We'll get back to these guys. I'm going to let them play and mute them. 1 second here.
That will be our most efficient powertrain.
We'll mute them when they're done. I want to hear what their thoughts are after the earnings report, but I don't want to have them clutter up. So we're going to listen over here. Discord's worth it? I think Discord's great. I think you guys actually have a bunch of great conversations. I've got a bunch of work to do in it, and I need to appear in it more. I've just been super busy trying to figure a bunch of stuff out. So I haven't even been doing this a year, okay? This is new to me still. Trying to get better. Elon, please be positive. It doesn't matter if he is. It doesn't even matter. But I think he's getting... When he likes to really hurt the shorts, he does a good job. Let's just put it that way. That's how I think we're going into this. I think he's going to just obliterate them. I think he's going to be super shiny happy. Oh, he's going to be in a good mood. He just got done playing Diablo 4. Hopefully he beat that 150 Rift. And he's going to crush this. Today he needs to destroy the shorts. Oh, yeah. Give him pain. Give him pain. He's been in a good mood for months. I think this helping out Trump thing is, I don't know. I think he really feels like he can see his vision benefiting humanity or something. He's just in a really good headspace. I totally agree. Yeah, exactly. If Trump wins, it's game over. It's fucking game over, man. I'm gonna make so much money. We're gonna make so much money. So much money. It's gonna be painful amounts of money. I can tell you what, guys. If I have 20, let me just turn this music down here. If I have 20 to 30 million dollars in the next 2 years, I'm gonna be in a pretty good mood. Like, having 3 million is cool, but I'm trying to retire like my entire bloodline. I got work to do. But 20, 30 million dollars, that's enough to live off of. I can enjoy life then. I'm still so frugal, guys. I bought 2 cars, well, 3 cars, but one was for my parents. I haven't upgraded my house at all. I've 10x'd my wealth since I retired, essentially. And I haven't even bought a new house. So I've been pretty humble. But I've retired a bunch of people. Now, once I get to that 20, 30 million mark, that's my fun time. That's the fun time. We're going to do that. Late 2025, early 2026, maybe? I don't know. So, I do it every day, Alexander. Just hang out, man. It doesn't cost more than a regular Netflix membership. And hopefully you get an opportunity to learn a lot. And you get to see what I do in real time, right? Jesse, can you answer my question? Sorry, I might have missed it, Diseased. What was it? Can you reiterate it one more time? I'll try and look at chat. Chat's actually flying by a little quicker than I'm used to. How many RoboTaxis are you going to buy? I'm going to buy RoboTaxis, probably 3. I don't know there's no pre-order yet. I don't know what they're going to do. 500 seems like a right number. I don't think they'll go as low as the Cybertruck because the Cybertruck was going to be a long ways out. We're almost hitting 10% now, guys. This is insane. People are getting excited. But I'm going to buy 3 probably, and then I'll get 5 Optimus robots because I'm going to buy my nephew a model. Well, I'm going to incorporate the micro to macro, and then I'm going to have my nephew. He's going to have a lease for Model 3 underneath the company, and he's going to take over a bunch of stuff. He's going to run my fleet too and my robots when I get them. But yeah, he's going to. So this guy, my nephew, for people who don't know, he had a pretty rough run-in with the law, being stupid one night, and made some bad decisions, and it could have sent him away for decades into prison. But he's gonna get. Hopefully, things are gonna go pretty good on that. We'll find out here in the quarters ahead, and it looks like it's gonna be good. And then he's gonna come out of that, and he's gonna probably be making 6 figures with me. And he's just a kid. I mean, he's an adult, but still a kid. He's like can't even drink. So it's going to be wild. He's going to have a good life. And he's changed a lot too from facing, extreme pain and suffering. He's got a much better attitude now, realizing he could have wasted his entire life and been 40 and just getting out of prison to potentially being rich in a few years. So he seems in better spirit. And now he's got his little baby Lincoln. He's so cute. So I'm pretty happy about that too. We just got to get Trump. We get Trump. We're going to make tons of money. We're helping the people we love. And then we got to get Trump so we can save the country. And get rich while doing it. Hey, thank you for joining. I haven't been looking at the other chat for this, but thank you to everybody who joined. It looks like Umat Korkmaz just became an alpha male female. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. It's exciting, guys. It's so exciting. Between this and PayPal and Robinhood just over the short term, I'm a bit fearful if Kamala wins too, T-Rex. Hello again. Are Umat? Amat? Hopefully I'm getting it right between one of those. I'll just say them both. My daughter's banging around upstairs. Awesome. Oh, I just can't wait to make all this money. I've been waiting. I'm so patient. When you're an investor, guys, you got to be patient sometimes for years. and it sucks, right? Like, you could wait an entire year, 2 years, just to start to get a payout, Sometimes more. And that's if you're right. If you're wrong, then it sucks. But when you're right, when those years come by, it's worth it. Perik Shith, please continue to do this even after 30 million. I'll probably do, so things will probably change in the way I do it. I'll probably spend less time doing this, but hopefully I'll be like more higher level, like here's what to expect, and there'll be plenty of people to take my place the daily. Maybe one of you guys will be doing a lot of the YouTube videos. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Are we up? The music got quiet.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh, here we go.
Welcome to Tesla's third quarter 2024 Q&A webcast. My name is Travis Axelrod, Head of Investor Relations, and I'm joined today by Elon Musk, Bev
Elon's here,
and a number of other executives. Our Q3 results were announced at about 3 p.m. Central Time in the update deck we published at the same link as this webcast. During this call, we will discuss our business outlook and make forward-looking statements. These comments are based on our predictions and expectations as of today. Actual events or results could differ materially due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those mentioned in our most recent filings with the SEC. During the question and answer portion of today's call, please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. Please use the raise hand button to join the question queue. Before we jump into Q&A, Elon has some opening remarks. Elon?
Thank you. So to recap, as someone saying, it's something that automotive industry are seeing year-over-year declines in order volumes in Q3. Tesla at the same time has achieved record deliveries. In fact, I think if you look at EV companies worldwide, to the best of my knowledge, no EV company is even profitable. And I'm not, to the best of my knowledge, there's no EV division of any company, of any existing auto company that is profitable. So
That's
it's notable
awesome
that Tesla is profitable despite a very challenging automotive environment. And this quarter actually is a record Q3 for us. So we produced our 7th million vehicle actually just yesterday. So congratulations to the teams that made it happen at Tesla. That's a staggeringly immense amount of work to make 7 million cars. So let's see, and we also have the energy storage business is growing like wildfire with strong demand for both Megapack and Powerwall. And as people know, on October 10th, we laid out a vision for an autonomous and electric future that I think is very compelling. The Tesla team did a phenomenal job there with actually giving people an opportunity to experience the future, where you have humanoid robots walking among the crowd, not with a canned video presentation or anything, but literally walking among the crowd, serving drinks and whatnot. And we had 50 autonomous vehicles. There were 20 Cybercabs, but there were an additional 30 Model Ys operating fully autonomously the entire night, carrying thousands of people with no incidents the entire night. And for those who went there, it's worth emphasizing that the Cybercab had no steering wheel or brake or accelerator pedals. Meaning there was no way for anyone to intervene manually, even if they wanted to, and the whole night went very smoothly. So, regarding the vehicle business, we are still on track to deliver more affordable models starting in the first half of 2025. This is, I think probably people are wondering, well, what should they assume for vehicle sales growth next year? And at the risk of to take a bit of risk here, I do want to give some rough estimate, which is I think it's 20 to 30% vehicle growth next year. Notwithstanding negative external events, like if there's some force majeure events, like some big war breaks out or interest rates go sky high or something like that, then we can't overcome massive force majeure events. But I think with our lower cost vehicles, with the advent of autonomy, something like a 20 to 30% growth next year is my best guess. And then Cybercab reaching volume production in 26. I do feel confident of Cybercab reaching volume production in 26, not just starting production, but reaching volume production in 26.
That's insane.
And that, that should be substantial growth. We're aiming for.
We're breaking 10%.
At least 2 million units a year of Cybercab. That'll be in more than one factory. But
we're gonna launch. We're gonna keep launching, guys.
Year, maybe 4 million ultimately. These are just my best guess.
People are really going to struggle with this. 20 to 30% vehicle growth forecast is a huge number for next year. The analysts are going to struggle to be negative on this one. It's going to be hard for them.
But if you ask me what my best guess is, those are my best guesses.
Elon's dude.
The 46, the cell.
We're going up.
Lines,
we're
team is
moving to the
actually doing great
board.
work
Oh my
there.
God. 10.5%, pushing 11.
Rapidly approaching the point where it is the most competitive cell. So when you consider the cost of a battery pack fully landed in the U.S., net of incentives and duties, the 4680 is tracking to be the most competitive, meaning lower cost per kilowatt hour fully considered than any other alternative. Which is not quite there yet, but we're close to being there, which I think is extremely exciting. And we've got a lot of ideas to go well beyond that. So I think if we execute well, the 4680 will have the Tesla internally produced cell will be the most cost competitive cell in North America. a testament to a tremendous amount of hard work there by the team. So that's a rule. We'll continue to buy a lot of cells from our competitors. Our intent is not to make cells just internally. So I don't want to set off any alarm bells here. We're obviously increasing substantially our vehicle output and our stationary storage output. So we need a lot of cells. And most of them will still come from suppliers, but I think it is some good news that the Tesla internal cell.
This is crazy, guys.
Is likely
gotta move my bar
is
here.
tracking to be the most competitive in the US. So with respect to autonomy, as people are experiencing in the cars, really from week to week, there are significant improvements in the miles between interventions. So with the new version 12.5, the release of Full Self-Driving and Cybertruck, the combining the code into a single stack so that the city driving and the end-to-end highway driving are one stack, which is a big improvement for the highway driving. So it's just all neural nets. And the release of actually Smart Summon. We try to have a sense of humor here at Tesla. And we're also, so that's 12.5. Version 13 of FSD is going out soon. Ashok will elaborate more on that later in the call. We expect to see roughly a 5 or 6-fold improvement in miles between interventions compared to 12.5. And actually, looking at the year as a whole, the improvement in miles between interventions, we think will be at least 3 orders of magnitude. So
that's awesome, Kyle.
That's a very dramatic
3 orders
in the course of a year. And we expect that trend to continue next year.
That's insane.
So the current internal expectation, emphasize internal expectation for the Tesla FSD having longer miles between intervention than human is the second quarter of next year.
Yeah, Cybercab full volume production by 2026.
It may end up being the third quarter, but it's next. It seems extremely likely to be next year. Sure, do you want to?
We're going to make so much money.
We're measuring miles between critical interventions. Like you mentioned, Elon, we already made a 100x improvement with 12.5 from starting of this year, and then with V13 release, we expect to be 1000x from the beginning, from January of this year on my production release software. And this came in because of technology improvements, going to end-to-end, having higher frame rate, partly also helped by hardware force, more capabilities, so on. And we hope that we continue to scale the neural network, the data, the training compute, etc. By Q2 next year, we should cross over the average human miles per critical intervention, or like collision in that case.
I mean, that is just unvarnished our internal estimate.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's not sandbagging or anything else. Our internal estimate is Q2 of next year to be safer than human, and then to continue with rapid improvements thereafter.
I'm so stressed out right now in a good way.
Now, a vast majority of humanity has no idea that Teslas can drive themselves.
The people around me do.
So, especially for something like a Model 3 or Model Y.
This is
like
insane.
So you don't expect a normal car to be able to be intelligent enough to drive itself.
Oh my God.
The Cybercab looks different. Cybertruck looks different, but Model Y and Model 3 they're good-looking cars, but they look fairly normal. You don't expect a fairly normal-looking car to have the intelligence, enough AI to be able to drive itself, but it does. So we do want to expose that to more people, and so we're doing every time we have a significant improvement in the software, we'll roll out another sort of 30-day trial, so to encourage people to try it again. And
I don't want to interrupt Elam, but I'm gonna pause just for a second. Nicholas said, Jesse, would you hold your calls later than usual if the outlook is this positive, or do you always sell before theta decay starts to kick in? Man, I'm probably not selling right away unless I need the money for something else. This is as good as it gets.
And we are seeing a significant improvement in adoption. So the take rate for FSD has improved substantially, especially after the 1010 event. Yeah, so there's no need to wait for RoboTaxi or Cybercab to experience full autonomy.
And they're going to take version 13 in a week here, and then they're going to give people free trials. Imagine what the conversion rate is then. Imagine what Q4 looks like. Wrap your head around what's coming in the next year and a half. We're going to make so much money.
We expect to achieve that
violent amounts of money
with our existing vehicle
obscene
line.
Amounts.
I wanted to actually someone gives a small taste of what it's going to look like. The car able to drive itself to the user within private parking lots. Currently, it's speed limited, but then it's going to quickly be increased. And we already had more than 1 million usage items of Smart Summon.
Yep. So, and we have for Tesla employees in the Bay Area, we already are offering a ride-hailing capability. So you can actually use with the development app, you can request a ride, and it'll take you anywhere in the Bay Area. We do have a safety driver for now, but the software required to do that. We've developed, and I mean, David, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. It's David. We showed some screenshots of this in the Q1 shareholder deck, and this is real. We've been testing it for the better part of the year, and the building blocks that we needed in order to build this functionality and deliver it to production, we've been thinking about and working on for years. It just so happens that we've used those building blocks to deliver great features for our customers in the meantime, such as sharing your profile, synchronizing it across cars, so that every single car that you jump into, whether it's another car that you
Sorry, guys. I just came to the emotional realization in the last couple of minutes that that video I made called the $14 million bet. I put more money into Tesla since then in the calls, and now it's the $15 million bet, and I could legitimately, the way this is sounding right now, if things execute well in the next year, I could make $15 million just off of Tesla.
own, or a car that somebody's loaned to you, or a rental car that you jump into, it looks exactly like yours. Everything synchronized, seat mirror positions, media, navigation, everything is the same. Just what you would expect from one of our RoboTaxis. But we gave that functionality to our customers right now because we built it intending for it to be used in the future. But we're releasing that functionality now. All the end-to-end cybersecurity that we knew we were going to need to deliver that functionality.
Yeah, profiles are awesome.
Sending a navigation destination from your phone to the vehicle. And so, you're doing that now with the ride-hailing app, but it's something that we've made available to customers for years. Seeing the progress on a route in the mobile app, that's something you'll need for the ride-hailing app, but again, we released it in the meantime. So it's not like we're just starting to think about this stuff right now while we're building out, the early stages of our ride-hailing network. We've been thinking about this for quite a long time, and we're excited to get the functionality out there.
Yeah, and we do expect to roll out ride-hailing in California and Texas next year to the public.
Hitting 240.
There's quite a long regulatory approval process. I think we should get approval next year, but it's contingent upon regulatory approval. Texas is a lot faster, so it's I'd say
about two.
We'll definitely have it.
Yeah, I have about 230 contracts. Can I make 5 to 15 million? Yeah, if we go to 900, I can. And I'm starting to think that's very possible. And that honestly is a fraction of what we have in our normal pays.
Available in Texas. and probably have it available in California, subject to regulatory approval, and then and maybe
Congrats,
some other
Dave.
states actually next year as well, but at least California and Texas. So I think that'd be very exciting. That's really a profound change. Tesla becomes more than a sort of vehicle and battery manufacturing company at that point. So we published our Q3 vehicle safety report, which shows one crash for every 7 million miles of autopilot. That compares to the U.S. average of one crash roughly every 700,000 miles. So it's currently showing
10x.
a 10x safety improvement relative to the U.S. average. And we continue to expand our AI training capacity to accommodate the needs of both FSD and Optimus. We're currently not training compute constrained. That's probably the biggest limiting factor is that the FSD is actually getting so good that it takes us a while to actually find mistakes. When you start getting to where
they need more processing power so that they can grind through more simulations and more, and just honestly, just they need more people driving so that they can find more errors to be able to teach this thing because they don't have enough, and it will get hard. It'll get hard.
It can take 10,000 miles to find a mistake. It takes a while to actually figure out which is this is this software build better than this.
I told you guys, he literally put a 50-foot fucking fork in the road at Giga Texas. Elon Musk can tell all of you that I told you what was coming next. I told you what was coming next. He also, in a town hall meeting, got done saying just a couple of days ago that Tesla was doing really good with sales. He's been telling us the whole time what was coming.
Software build A better than software build B. It actually takes a while to figure it out because neither one of them are making mistakes. What take a long time to make mistakes. So that's actually the single biggest limiting factor is
it makes so much money.
How long does it take us to figure out which version is better?
This is the start of phase 4 right now.
Sort of high class problem.
High class problems.
Obviously, having a giant fleet is very helpful for figuring this out. And then with Optimus, we showed a massive improvement in Optimus's dexterity and movement on October 10th, and our next gen hand and forearm, which has 22 degrees of freedom, double.
What does the fork in the road symbolize, says Alex? It symbolizes that this is no longer a car company. It's a robotics and artificial intelligence SaaS company that's going to make lots of money and become the largest company on Earth in less than 5 years.
Double the prior.
It's a pretty big fucking fork.
Hand and forearm. It's extremely human-like. It also has much better tactile sensing. It's really, I feel confident saying that we have the most advanced humanoid robot by a long shot. And we're moreover the only company that really has all of the ingredients necessary to scale humanoid robots. Because the things that what other companies are missing is that they're missing the AI brain, and they're missing the ability to really scale to very high volume production. So you sometimes see some impressive video demos, but they lack the localized AI and the
we're breaking 240.
Scale volume.
We're going to break 240.
As I've said on a few occasions before, I think Optimus will ultimately be the most valuable part.
What?
And I think it has a good chance of being the most valuable product ever made.
Yes, it will be.
For the energy business, that's doing extremely well. And there's
I do want to hear what Elon has to say. Mr. Cold One said, I think we're going to make so much money every time I listen to Jesse. And you will. That's the plan, right? That's what we're shooting for.
Opportunity ahead is gigantic.
Imagine being short.
The Lathrop Megapack factory reached 200 megapacks a week.
Oh yeah, totally, John.
Which is
it's
now
it's
a
a
40
lot.
gigawatt hour a year run rate. And we have a second factory in Shanghai that will begin with a 20 gigawatt hour a year run rate in Q1 next year, so just next quarter. That'll also scale up.
That was Elon.
It
yeah.
won't be long before we're shipping 100 gigawatt hours a year stationary storage at Tesla. And that'll that'll ultimately grow, I think, to multiple terawatt hours per year. It has to, actually.
All these numbers are insane. Steve said the free FSD trial was also a big buy signal. Yeah, I totally agree, dude.
In order to have a sustainable energy future, if you're not at the terawatt scale, you're not really moving the needle. So
shares are good too, Prabhat.
If you look at our admittedly very complicated last master plan, which I think actually has too much detail.
Cool. See.
Maybe I'll ask Grok to analyze it and
shorten it up.
Yeah, give us the TLDR.
I love this man so much. This ain't no Trevor Milton. No, this is not Nikola. This is the real Tesla we have in front of us today.
The last master plan. But we showed in that master plan that it is possible to take all of Earth to a fully sustainable energy situation using sustainable energy, power generation, and batteries and electric transport. And there are no fundamental material limitations. Like there's not some very rare material that we don't have enough of on Earth. We actually have enough of the raw materials to take all of human civilization, make it fully sustainable. And even if civilization dramatically increased its electricity usage, it would still be fully sustainable. You know, one way to think of the progress of a civilization,
Mary Barra,
this may sound a little esoteric, but is percentage completion of Kardashev scale.
One sec, I'll be right back, guys.
So Kardashev scale 1 would be you're using all the power of a planet. We're currently less than 1% on Kardashev level 1. Level 2 would be using all the power of the sun. And level 3, all the power of the galaxy. So we've got a long way to go. Long way to go. When you think in Kardashev terms, it becomes obvious that by far the biggest source of energy is the sun. Everything else is in the noise. So in conclusion, Tesla is focused on building the future of energy, transport, robotics, and AI. And this is a time when others are just focused on managing around near-term trends. We think what we're doing is the right approach, and if we execute on our objectives, and I think we will, Tesla, my prediction is Tesla will become the most valuable company in the world, and probably by a long shot.
That's no biggie.
I want to thank the Tesla team once again for strong execution in a tough operating environment, and we're looking forward to building an incredibly exciting future. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Elon. And Bob has some opening remarks as well.
Yeah, thanks. Our Q3 results were overall positive and once again demonstrate the scale to which businesses evolved over the years with the generation of record operating cash flows of $6.3 billion. Our automotive revenues grew both quarter-on-quarter and year-on-year. While we had unit volume growth, we did experience reduction in ASPs, primarily due to the impact of financing incentives. As a reminder, we are providing these incentives primarily using third-party banks and financial institutions and recognize the cost of these incentives as an upfront reduction to revenue.
What?
We released FSD for Cybertruck and other features like actually smart summon, like Elon talked about in North America, which contributed $326 million of revenues in the quarter. We continue to see elevated levels of regulatory credit sales with over $2 billion of revenues so far this year. To expand on this, at an industry level, China continues to outperform US and Europe by a factor of 3. And if there is something to be learned from that, this gives a signal of what is to come in other regions. as customers' acceptance of EV grows. And we feel that is the right strategy.
Yeah, no doubt. This just shows how much they can grow in other regions. I agree.
To build affordable and more competitive.
We're going to make so much money.
Our focus remains on growing unit volume while avoiding a buildup of inventory. To support this strategy, we're continuing to offer extremely compelling vehicle financing options in every market. When you compare any vehicle in our lineup with other OEMs, we believe our vehicles provide much better value, particularly when you consider the safety features, performance, and unparalleled software functionalities like David also talked.
There is so many people that are off sides right now on Tesla that need to get in. There are so many. So many. Nobody was excited about this earnings.
About include also what Ashok had talked about around autonomy, music options, parental controls, and much more. While every vehicle in our lineup comes up with these capabilities,
He is easier to
an awareness
understand.
gap, not just with buyers, but at times even with existing owners. We plan on making these more visible in our interactions with both existing and future customers. Automotive margins improved quarter-over-quarter as a result of FSD features release discussed before.
Yeah,
Increase in our overall production and delivery volume, continued benefit from commodity pricing, and more localized deliveries in region, which resulted in lower freight and duties. Sustaining these margins in Q4, however, will be challenging given the current economic environment. Note that we are focused on the cost per vehicle, and there are numerous work streams within the company to squeeze our costs without compromising on customer experience.
Yeah, something that's hopefully a helpful macro trend is if there's a decline in interest rates, this has a massive effect on
there will be
the on automotive demand. The vast majority of people the demand is.
If Trump gets elected, he's got pro-growth policies, guys. We're going to see rates coming down hard because people will be positive about the government's ability to repay its debts. We've already had record buying in bonds. They're still low, but we could see the yields plummet, and we could see rates just. It's going to change so much. It's going to be so positive, guys.
By the monthly payment, and therefore the monthly payment. So I think most likely we'll see continued declining interest rates, which helps with affordability of vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, that is one trend which we observed in the industry that, because of the affordability being impacted because of interest rates, people are holding on to the cars longer, especially in the US. And that is actually having an impact on the overall industry too. As we discussed earlier, in back orders, energy deployments fluctuate quarter-over-quarter due to customer readiness, location of orders being fulfilled, and not necessarily an indicator of demand or production within the quarter. While we did see a decline in Q3, we expect to grow deployment sequentially in Q4 to end the year with more than double of last year. Energy margins in Q3 were a record at more than 30%. This is a function of mix of projects being deployed in the quarter. Note that there will be fluctuation in margins as we manage through deployments and our inventory. Our pipeline and backlog continue to grow quarter-over-quarter as we fill our 2025 production slots, and we're doing our level best to keep up with the demand. Just coming back on automotive margins, I talked about what is happening. One other thing which I want to also share is that we will continue to keep whatever we can to squeeze, like I said before, about squeezing out the cost. But this is something which we also are very capable of. I mean, just in Q3, we reached our lowest cost per vehicle. And that is a trend which we want to keep focus on. Then going on to service and other, we continue to show improvements in Q3. This was a result of better performance both in our service business, which includes collision, parts sales, and merchandise, and continued growth in supercharging. These fleet-based revenues will continue to grow as the overall fleet size increases. Our operating expenses declined quarter-over-quarter and on a year-on-year basis. This is partially due to the restructuring we undertook in Q2. Cost saving from these initiatives were partially offset by increase in costs related to our AI efforts. We've started using the GPU cluster based out of our factory in Austin ahead of schedule, and are on track to get 50K GPUs deployed in Texas by the end of this month. One thing which I'd like to elaborate is that we're being very judicious on our AI compute spend too, and saying how best we can utilize the existing infrastructure before making further investments. On the CapEx front, we had over $3.5 billion in the quarter. This was a sequential increase largely because of investments in AI compute. We now expect the CapEx for the year to be in excess of $11 billion. We shared our vision for the future at the WeRobot event at the beginning of the month. The Tesla team is hyper-focused on delivering on that vision, and all efforts are underway to make it a reality. While we've achieved significant progress this year, it will take time to get this as we pioneer new and incredibly complex technologies and navigate a fragmented regulatory landscape. The future is incredibly bright, and I want to thank the Tesla team once again for all their help.
Great. Thank you very much, Bob. Now we'll go to investor questions. The first one is Tesla still on track to deliver the more affordable model next year, as mentioned by Elon earlier, and how does it align with your AI product roadmap?
Sure. I mean, as Elon and Bob both said, we are on plan to meet that in the first half of next year. Our mission has always been to lower the cost of our vehicles to increase the adoption of sustainable energy and transport. Part of that is lowering the cost for current vehicles, which is where all of the personally owned vehicles that we sell today come in, but the next stage in that really, as it fits into AI roadmap, is when we bring in RoboTaxis, which lowers the initial cost of getting into an EV, and that's really where we see the marriage of EV roadmap and the AI roadmap.
Yeah, it'll be like with incentives sub 30K, which is kind of a key threshold.
Great, thank you very much. Similar question next. When can we expect Tesla to give us the $25,000 non-RoboTaxi regular car model?
We're not making it on Robo.
Yeah, all our vehicles today are RoboTaxi.
I think we made very clear.
Wait.
We're the future is autonomous. I mean, it's going to be.
Okay, so I'm wrong on that.
I actually said this many years ago, but that in my strong belief, and I believe that is panning out to be true, so it'll be very obvious in retrospect, is that the future is autonomous electric vehicles. And non-autonomous gasoline vehicles in the future will be like riding a horse and using a flip phone. It's not that there are no horses.
He's doubling down.
Horses, but they're unusual. They're niche. So everything's going to be electric autonomous. I think this is blind. Like, it should be frankly blindingly obvious at this point that is the future.
Just smacking people down. Love it.
A lot of automotive companies, and most automotive companies, have not internalized this, which is surprising because we've been shouting this from the rooftops for such a long time, and it will accrue to their detriment in the future.
This is victory dance.
All of our vehicles in the future will be autonomous. Yes, all the vehicles that we've really made, all the 7 million vehicles, the vast majority are capable of autonomy. We're currently making on the order of 35,000 autonomous vehicles a week. If you compare that to, say, Waymo's entire fleet, they have less than 1,000 cars. We make 35K a week.
Yeah, and our cars look normal.
Yeah, they mostly look normal. The Cybertruck looks, thankfully, looks abnormal. And then the Cybercab / RoboTaxi, we wanted to have something futuristic looking. I think it does look futuristic. And it's worth noting with respect to the Cybercab, it's actually not just a revolution in vehicle design, but a revolution in vehicle manufacturing. That's also coming with the Cybercab. The cycle time, like the units per hour of the Cybercab line is like, this is just really something special. I mean, this is only half order of magnitude better than other car manufacturing lines. Like not in the same league is what I'm saying. Not in the same league. So it's and I said several years ago that maybe the most the hottest Tesla product economy will be the factory. You can't just like buy a factory.
You can reverse engineer a factory. It's
it's like,
Can you guys please respond to that post on X just to give it visibility? I want more and more and more and more and more, and like to share. I want more people in our group. We need more people. We're going to grow fast. We need to grow really fast.
And as we're rapidly evolving our manufacturing technology. So anyway, there's like basically having a regular 25K model is pointless. Yeah, it would be silly. Like, it would be completely at odds with what we believe.
In autonomous world, what matters is the lowest cost per mile of efficiency of that vehicle, and that's what we've done with the RoboTaxi.
Exactly. Autonomous, it's fully considered cost per mile, is what matters. And if you try to make a car that is, essentially a hybrid manual automatic car, it's not going to be as good as a dedicated autonomous car. Cybercab is just not going to have steering wheels and pedals. It's fully designed optimized for autonomy. But no, it'll cost on the order of cost roughly 25K. So it is a 25K car, and you won't be able to buy one exclusively if you want. So just what have steering wheel and pedals. You don't need it.
Great, thank you very much. The next question is, what is Tesla doing to alleviate long wait times at service centers?
So we aim on solving problems at the source, so at the factory, before they can even affect our customers. We believe the best service is no service, and
it really is.
Don't even have them.
If the car doesn't break,
yeah, exactly.
That's the best thing.
Don't see anyone with a Tesla shirt. You either do it, fix the issue upstream, or do it remotely, do it through software. Maybe at work or at home, car can be parked, and we address and fix the issue. And we've partnered the field with service to make sure we're looking at the same issues. And additionally, just in Q3 and Q4 of this year alone, we have opened and will open in total at nearly 70 locations. And in North America, we significantly expanded the size of each location and have doubled the size last year compared to this year.
Yeah, I think it's like actually a lot of merit to having large service centers, because you can have specialization of labor. You can start to approach. It should be more factory-like. Where you can have dedicated lanes for particular types of service, and it's way easier for somebody to become expert in a few different types of repairs than in every repair.
Exactly. This has helped us with the base of these heavy repairs, like clogging up a lane. There's dedicated lanes for different types of repairs, and so it's throughput matters and really treating it like a factory.
This is where Tesla's structure, I think. Tesla has a structural advantage relative to the rest of the auto industry.
I love that they've optimized their service centers. I went to one in the Midwest over here, guys, to get my Cybertruck worked on, and it was just badass. It was so amazing. And they had two old school Roadsters there. One of them had barely been driven. It's an amazing experience. And of course, they've optimized it to make it the most efficient and profitable possible.
We make the cars and we service the cars, whereas I think there's a bit of a conflict of interest with the dealer model and the sort of traditional.
That is such a good point. They don't have the conflict of interest with the dealer model. I've kind of thought about this before, but since they don't have the conflict of interest, they're always trying to figure out how to keep costs down. Whereas dealers, they wanted things to break. They had no incentive to report back to the manufacturer that something was costing a lot or help them figure out how to improve parts. Tesla has all of that. Oh my God. They think about everything. He thinks about everything. How does he have the time?
Traditional OEM, a dealer model where the dealerships make most of their money on service. And so they obviously are disincented to reduce the servicing cost.
Yeah.
Whereas in our case, we are incented to reduce the servicing cost because we carry that servicing cost. And we've got a good feedback loop with our cars.
The best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we review with the factory, with the service leaders together, and send people from the factories to the field and field to the factory to see it firsthand.
Exactly.
Provide suggestions for manufacturing as well as for engineering on design.
Yeah, so I view this as a fundamental structural advantage of Tesla versus the rest of the auto industry.
Also doing a bunch of work on the software side, not only to automate, diagnostics, so identifying, what needs to be done to a car before it comes into service, but also automating all of the preparation work and aligning all the resources that are necessary in order for the car to be very efficiently worked on once it arrives. So the parts are there, like the lift is scheduled, the technician's scheduled, like everything's ready
like
to go.
the car says, this is what's wrong with me, and tell the service center.
The car knows
Get everything ready in advance.
Yeah. Please fix me, and this is what's wrong.
Yeah, this is what I recommend you do now. This is what I recommend you do.
Yeah.
Instead of customer trying to translate the car, is telling us directly, and we're pulling that. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need, most of the time you don't need to diagnose the car when it arrives. The car, this is like, again, a fundamental technology advantage and structural advantage compared to the rest of the auto industry.
I think it's underappreciated as to what all we are able to do.
Yeah.
And that's why, because like you said before, most of our cars, except for Cybertruck, look the same.
Yeah.
Right? So people don't realize that it has so much capability.
Yeah. They look better than other cars, but they're not like obviously like super futuristic.
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much. The next question is, please provide an update on the Semi. What will the next stage of growth look like, and when will FSD be ready?
Sure. So as we posted in the earnings deck, we're progressing swiftly on the build of the Semi factory in our Gigafactory in Reno. We've released all our major capital expenditures for that program, and we're on track to start pilot builds in the second half of next year, with production starting in the first half of 2026 and ramping really throughout the year to full production. Semi, growth will largely depend on our customers' adoption of the product.
Well, I don't think we're going to be demand limited, honestly.
Yeah, which I was going to say, which is like a no-brainer for the Semi, because it's really a commodity of total cost of ownership.
Yes, exactly. It's we have kind of ridiculous demand for the Semi.
In that world where it's about how much do I spend to go
exactly.
cents per mile, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, fundamentally, if you've got a Semi where the fully considered cost per mile per ton of transport is better than, say, a diesel truck, any company that doesn't adopt an electric Semi will lose. It's not a subjective thing. It's like
it's a cost.
Do you like
just a competitive?
I mean, we want the style. We want to have a beautiful semi truck, but frankly, if we made an ugly semi truck, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, he's right.
And this is proving so in our fleets and in Pepsi's a partner. In fact, the Pepsi actually said last week their drivers don't want to go back.
Yeah. But as soon as we give anyone the electric semi, it's like that's like the choice.
It's what they want to drive.
Yeah. That's like so the more senior, like their top drivers, they get to drive the Tesla Semi. And it's the thing they want to drive. It's super fun to drive.
It's also very easy to drive.
It's easy to drive, and it holds ass. Yeah. It's like fast.
Yeah, super fast. Maybe too fast.
Well, but I mean, like like you've seen like the videos of where like the Tesla electric semi can go uphill, speeding past like the diesel truck,
or even cars.
Yeah, even cars. So it's responsive. It's you floor it and that truck actually moves.
And that's a benefit not only for the driver and for the goods, but also for safety in terms of other drivers on the road. You don't get stuck behind the semi. You're not in a slow down situation in an on ramp. I mean, how that plays into FSD, which is the second part of the question. All of the semis have been, since a couple hundred we've deployed already, and the ones that we'll be building next year and throughout the future have all of the hardware and the cameras necessary to deploy FSD, and we're currently training with that small fleet that we have. And as soon as the fleet is trained and the neural nets are up, we'll get FSD onto that platform.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a massive improvement in driver fatigue, because and driver safety. We've got sort of the anti-jackknifing software.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about your brakes overheating if you go down a steep hill, because we use regenerative. Like that energy goes back into the pack.
Actually, when we leave Reno,
it's just like it's like radically better than a diesel semi. It's why the drivers love it.
Yeah.
Great, guys. Thank you very much. Our next question is, when will Tesla incorporate X and Grok in all of the Tesla vehicles?
Well, I mean, these are relatively small fry things, but yeah, I think we'll keep expanding, what is available in the car on the screen, and also improving like the browser. So like just generally you can access anything you want in the car. In fact, for the Tesla, once you get to full autonomy, you actually want fully a system that is can do anything. Like if you want to browse the internet, if you want to ask AI questions, if you want to watch a movie, if you want to play a video game, if you want to do some productivity thing, you can do anything you want in an autonomous vehicle because you don't need to drive. So that's why the Cybercab's got a nice big screen and a great sound system, so you can watch a great movie with. It's like being like in a
personal movie theater.
Yeah, personal movie theater. It's awesome.
Yeah, this is why we've been building this functionality, adding gaming to the car, adding movies and other, all sorts of different media applications to the car, because,
the cars are,
that's what you're gonna, the cars that we build today.
There's some really fun games, by the way. If people haven't tried it, there's like Castle Doombad and Polytopia and a bunch of really fun games in the car.
Yeah, we're constantly looking at, what features to add next, and we're paying attention to what's most commonly requested by our customers.
Yeah, play Castle Doombad. You won't regret it.
I haven't tried that one, actually.
Great. Thank you guys very much. The next question is, Elon mentioned unsupervised FSD in California and Texas next year. Does that mean regulators have agreed to it in the entire state for existing hardware 3 and 4 vehicles?
No, as I said earlier, California loves regulation.
But they have a pathway.
Yeah, I mean, there's a pathway. Obviously, Waymo operates in California, so there's just a lot of forms to fill out and a lot of approvals that are required. I mean, I'd be shocked if we don't get it.
Longer. Other ones haven't set up anything yet, and so we will work through those state by state and get it.
I do think we should have a federal.
I agree
that autonomous vehicles should be approved. It should be possible to.
Congress, if you're listening, let's get a federal AV.
There should be a federal approval process for autonomous vehicles.
Lost sound?
I mean, that's how the FMVSS. It's
1 sec.
Federal motor vehicle. The FMVSS is federal.
Yeah, so I mean, in 2017 and 18, it's when regulators started looking at it, and it's really kind of stalled since then. But we would appreciate and would support helping out.
It really needs to be like a national approval is important. If there's a Department of Government Efficiency, I'll try to help make that happen. And it's for everyone, not just Tesla, obviously. But
weird. 1 second, I'm pausing real quick. I don't know what that would be. Why is that? It says excellent condition. I'll refresh.
a car than it is to design the car and build the entire factory in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
It's like excruciating, and there's not a lot of movies made about the heroes who got 20% of the cost out of a car.
Okay.
But let me tell you, there should be.
Little changes.
Everything got that is incredibly heroic.
It's the little changes, and it's not like a silver.
Yeah, it's like there should be the heroes who got 20% cost out of a car. It's like, damn, I have a lot of respect for them. We were talking movie. It's like, you know, I think you probably could make a compelling movie, but it just no. Like, if you actually saw how hard, if people actually saw how hard it was to do that, you'd be like, whoa, that's damn hard.
Just yesterday we were talking about potting.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you're like literally, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, when I do call it sort of like getting cost out of things, it's kind of like, it's like Game of Pennies. It's like Game of Thrones, but pennies. You know, first approximation, if you've got 10,000 items in a car, very rough approximation, and each of them costs $4, then you have a $40,000 car. So then if you want to make a $35,000 car, you've got to get 50 cents on average out of the 10,000 items.
Every part.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, and then obviously the best is you delete some parts. In fact, we found we're able to delete a lot of parts. I'm very excited about the Cybercab design and the how we're rethinking the design of a car for the Cybercab, designing it for ultra high volume production, and then designing a machine that builds the machine that I think is also revolutionary. And it's just that there's no other car company that's even trying to do what we're doing. Like, I've even heard of it, actually. In fact, I'm certain there isn't one. I think our new machine that builds the machine, like it's inherent, like it's designed to be like, you know, five times better than a traditional factory. Like cycle time
and like part deletion, material movement. I don't think any other car company has the same level of like integration of thought that we have when it comes to like when you design a part from a white sheet of paper. Who's going to make it? Where is it going to be made? How's it going to be shipped? How's it going to be assembled into the vehicle? And like at any one point, if something is done in a silo, it becomes a bottleneck of either cost or time or efficiency. But with the RoboTaxi, you know, the development, like we've done a good job on combining all that and then like blowing up how it's made and saying it should be made this way and rethinking it all so that it's the most efficient factory possible. That shows it will show in our CapEx efficiency when we deploy it. It shows in the number of parts, it shows in the simplicity of the vehicle, but also how it performs in terms of like end user state.
Yeah. Just to close out, just on the energy front, also in 25, we will have started manufacturing at the Mega Factory Shanghai. We'll continue to increase our overall storage deployments with Powerwall 3. We plan to continue expanding our supercharging network, getting more OEMs on our network. 4680 and that cell ramp, as Elon talked about, that would keep going. And then we also will have our lithium refinery starting to produce. So there's a lot which is going on.
Great. Yeah, so many things.
Yeah.
I mean, the crazy thing is like Tesla's winning basically on almost every single thing we're doing. If we're not winning now, we're on track to win. In arenas where there are entire large companies, that's the only thing they do.
Yeah. I mean, it's a company. There are multiple companies within the company.
Yeah, Tesla's like many companies that one.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Just a few more. What is going on with the Tesla Roadster?
Fun things.
Well, I just like to thank our long-suffering deposit holders of the Tesla
Our
Roadster.
long-suffering.
You know, the reason it hasn't come out yet is because the Roadster is not just the icing on the cake; it's the cherry on the icing on the cake. And so, you know, our larger mission is to accelerate the progress towards a sustainable energy future. You know, try to do things that maximize the probability that the future is good for humanity and for Earth. And so that necessarily means that like the things like that are kind of like dessert. We'd all love to work on the Tesla, the next gen Tesla Roadster. It is super fun, and we are working on it. But it has to come behind the more the things that have a more serious impact on the good of the world. So just thank you to all our long-suffering Tesla Roadster deposit holders, and we are actually finally making progress on that, and we're close to finalizing the design on that. It's really going to be something spectacular. You know, a friend of mine, Peter Thiel, you know, and sometimes people think that Peter Thiel and I are rivals. We're really good friends. But to be clear, you know, Peter, you know, was lamenting how, you know, the future doesn't have flying cars. Well, we'll see.
What?
More to come. Yeah.
Did he just say we'll see?
What?
What?
Thank you very much. The next one is quite similar to other questions we've had, so I might combine it with the final question. So briefly, could you just detail how RoboTaxi will roll out? Will it start with a Tesla deployed fleet and then allow customers to add theirs on like a subscription model? And then we'll
I don't have an order yet for the Roadster. I didn't want to drop 50K, but I'm probably going to do it this next year. Probably earlier, maybe the end of first quarter.
Hardware 3 be capable of level 5 FSD.
Regarding the hardware 3, what we saw with 12.5 was it was easier to make rapid progress with starting with hardware 4 and figuring out the solution and then backporting it to hardware 3 instead of directly working on hardware 3, given that hardware 4 has more like fundamental hardware capabilities.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that trend will continue into the next few quarters as well, where we first figure out the solution rapidly with AI4 and then backport it, write the kernels. It just takes longer to develop those things because it's not fundamentally supported in the hardware and it's emulated. But yeah, it's initially working on hardware 4, backporting it to hardware 3.
Yeah, so it's, I guess the answer is we're not 100% sure, but our as Ashok mentioned, because by some measures hardware 4 has really several times the capability of hardware 3. It's easier to get things to work with hardware 4, and then it takes a lot of effort to sort of squeeze that functionality into hardware 3. You know, there is some chance that hardware 3 does not achieve the safety level that allows for unsupervised.
They can just upgrade.
FSD. You know, there is some chance of that, and if that turns out to be the case, we will upgrade those.
It's just an upgrade. It's just an upgrade. That's for free. What are they going to say? What is the negative shit that they could even try and bring up tomorrow? Can somebody tell me? What is it? What is it? There's nothing. There. I might too, Silas.
We'll make sure we take care of those who bought FSD on hardware 3.
What an amazing company.
Great. In the last few minutes that we have left, we will try.
Dude, they got nothing. They got nothing. Sound is gone again? One sec. Better? Thanks. Is it better? Better? Is it better? Fuck.
With cars that will start with like a supervisory like some onboard supervision, someone sitting at the wheel just in case, and removing the supervisors progressively, or are you aiming for going fully fledged without even a human supervisor when you get started?
What the fuck?
Okay, well,
1 second. I'm gonna refresh. I'm gonna pause.
Yeah, the first part of the question, the nature of real world AI is different from, say, an LLM, in that you have a massive amount of context. So that like you've got case of Tesla 7 or 8 cameras that up to 9 if you include the internal camera, that so you've got gigabytes of context, and that is then distilled down into a small number of control outputs. Whereas it's like you don't really, it's very rare to have. In fact, I'm not sure any LLM out there can do gigabytes of context. And then you've got to then process that in the car with a very small amount of compute power.
Again?
It's all doable and it's happening, but it is a different problem.
Is the sound working?
Than what, say, a Gemini or an OpenAI is doing. Now, part of the way you can make up for the fact that the inference computer is quite small is by spending a lot of effort on training. And just like a human, the more you train on something, the less mental workload it takes when you try when you do it. Like when the first time, like a human starts driving, it absorbs your whole mind. But then, as you train more and more on driving, get very good, then the driving becomes a background task. It only absorbs a small amount of your mental capacity because you have a lot of training. So we can make up for the fact that the inference computer is it's tiny compared to a 10 kilowatt bank of GPUs, because you've got a few hundred watts of inference compute. We can make up for that with heavy training. So yeah, that's and then there's also vast amounts of the actual petabytes of data coming in are tremendous, and then sorting out what training is important was of the vast amounts of video training or video data coming in from the fleet, what is actually most important for training? That's also quite difficult. But as I said, we're not currently training compute constrained. I'm not sure if you want to elaborate on it.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, the training helps both train larger models, also to train quicker. But in the end, we still got to pick which models are performing better. So the validation effort to picking the models, because the miles per intervention is pretty large, we have to drive a lot of miles to know in closed loop. We do have simulation and other ways to get those metrics. Those do help, but in the end, that's a big bottleneck. Yeah, that's why we're not training compute constraint alone. And there's other axis of scaling as well, which is data, figuring out which data is more useful. That is an important task, and we're focusing on that.
Yeah. So as it relates to the second part of your question, Pierre, about safety drivers and rolling it out, each state has different requirements that, in terms of how many miles and how much time you need to have a safety driver and not have a safety driver. We're going to follow all those. We're not going to violate whatever regulations are out there, with safety as a priority. But the goal is obviously when we're ready and safety is there, we'll remove all the drivers from the rideshare program.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we think that we'll be able to have driverless Teslas doing paid rides next year, sometime next year.
All right, thank you. And our next question comes from Adam Jonas at Morgan Stanley. Adam, please feel free to unmute yourself.
Okay, thanks everybody. Just had a question about the relationship between Tesla and XAI. Many investors are still not clear how the work at XAI is truly beneficial to Tesla. some even take the view that the two companies may even be in competition with each other in terms of talent and tech and even your time, Elon. So what's your message to investors on that relationship between Tesla and xAI, and where do you see it going over time? Thanks.
Well, I should say that xAI has been helpful to Tesla AI quite a few times in terms of things like scaling up, like training, just even like recently in the last week or so, improvements in fault-tolerant training, where if you're doing a big training run and a node fails, being able to continue training and easy to recover from on a training run, actually has been pretty helpful. But there are different problems. xAI is working on artificial general intelligence or artificial superintelligence. Tesla is trying to make autonomous cars and autonomous robots. They're different problems. So, yeah, I mean,
I think we've said this before also, like not all AI is equal, right? I mean, AI is a broad spectrum.
Yeah.
And we have our own swim lanes. Yes, there are certain things which we can collaborate on if needed, but for the most part, we're solving different issues.
Yeah, Tesla's focused on real world AI. And like I was saying earlier, it is quite a bit different from an LLM. Because you have massive context in the form of video and some amount of audio that's got to be distilled with extremely efficient inference compute. I do think Tesla is the most efficient in the world in terms of inference compute, because
the most efficient in the world in regard to inference compute. That's no small statement.
Of necessity, we have to be very good at efficient inference. We can't put 10 kilowatts of GPUs in a car. We've got a couple hundred watts.
I want to hear Ross Gerber's dumbass on CNBC tomorrow. Mark Bentley said, what are the advantages of whale membership opposed to regular? Whale is giving more. It's not much more than that right now, honestly. So if you're doing alpha or whale, you're just being generous.
It's a pretty well-designed Tesla AI chip, but it's still a couple hundred watts.
They probably will from Florida.
But they are different problems.
But it's not true.
The stuff that xAI does, like when it's running inference, I mean, it is running inference, like it's answering questions, it's answering testing questions on a 10 kilowatt rack. It's like, yeah, put that in a car. It's a different problem.
Please no.
No, exactly.
Please no.
So, xAI is because I felt there wasn't a truth-seeking digital superintelligence company out there. Like that's what it came down to. That there needed to be a truth-seeking, an AI company that is just very rigorous about being truthful. And so I'm not saying xAI is perfect, but that is that is at least the explicit aspiration. Even if something is politically incorrect, it should still be truthful. I think this is very important for AI safety. So anyway, I think xAI has been helpful to Tesla and will continue to be helpful to Tesla, but they are very different problems. Great. And I mean, also think what other car company has a world-class chip design team? Like zero. What other car company has a world-class AI team like Tesla does? Zero. Those were all startups. They were created from scratch.
Great. Thank you, Elon. And I think that's unfortunately all the time that we have for today. We appreciate all of your questions and we look forward to hearing you next quarter. Thank you very much and goodbye.
I don't actually even know what to say. It's all so good. It's all so good, guys. I wasn't expecting this for quarters. I was willing to wait another year. I've waited 2.5 years. I've been buying. I have made so much money off of Tesla, and I've just been buying at all the right times. And it's just been a blessing. Let's get Kevin's PP off of here. Let's pull up Tesla real quick on the chart. Oh, what a beautiful chart. What a beautiful chart. We'll just go to the weekly here. Dial it down. Again, I made that video. So our measured move, guys, is to like 480 now. So I'm going to sell, my goal is to sell as little as I can of my Tesla calls until 480. That should give me 5 or 6 million, I think. Maybe 5 million at least in profits off of these calls, off the money I've already made from them. And then I'll start selling, and then I'll sell more at 600, and then a little bit more. But my goal is to keep a decent amount until we hit $900. I've got until June of 2026, and the previous phases indicate that this should be attainable. This is 200 and like almost a 300% move. That's not a crazy number. It's not the 3,200% move we did last time. It's more than the 174% we did from phase 2 to phase 3. But phase 1 to phase 2, we did 1,800%. There's diminished returns. There's economies of scale. There's all kinds of stuff. But I strongly believe now that Tesla could actually go 300% between now and June of 2026, a little over a year and a half from now, a little less than 2 years from now. So when do we get to 480? I don't know, man. I think we get to new all-time highs next year. For sure. I mean, I think maybe we could do 600 in 2025. That seems right. Right? That seems right. That seems pretty easy. And who knows, maybe I get all out at that point and get into stock. I've got a lot of investment opportunities. This is just one, right? If Trump wins, it's just going to go insane. It's just going to go crazy. I just don't know what else to say, guys. It's been a long road. When you, like I've said before, when you have to wait 2.5 years, 3 years sometimes for an investment to pay off. I'm a swing trader. I'm not a day trader, okay? I look for asymmetric bets pointed in multiple directions that can make me a ton of money. And if one of them plays out, I've got a $15 million bet on this. If nothing else works, then if this works, I'm rich, right? Richer. And to be clear, like, this isn't too far away. So this is like a third of my bet. It was actually a little less than that, probably 30%. And then I've got all these others. And PayPal can make me millions. Hood can make me, we'll say $1 million plus. ARKG can make me millions. All the Bitcoin stuff can make me millions. So the Bitcoin stuff could be maybe a 10 million plus. Probably close to it. So there's just, if you have asymmetric bets pointed in different directions with companies that are truly amazing, you can make tons of money. Let's see what these guys are talking about. You know what? I might even just call it here, guys. I want to spend some time with my family. If you guys want to watch a great stream, watch Farzad, watch one of these other guys like Herbert. There's so many good streams out there for Tesla. I look forward to making a bunch more money with you guys. I look forward to that trip to Texas to watch hopefully another Starship. We should plan it around a Starship launch. And I hope to see a bunch of you guys there. And I want to hear a bunch of stories about people that have retired and how much money you've made. Nothing would warm my heart more than to know that I made a positive difference financially to free people in their lives. I think that's enough reward and payoff. So, love you guys. Look forward to seeing us make a bunch of money. And we got to go out with just one video, I think, today. There is only one that can be played. I need to find it real quick. But I love you guys. And our robot's just about to steal your job, but I think it's going to be in a way better way than a lot of people ever expected. Talk to you later. Bye.
Optimus, the robotic humanoid under development by Elon Musk's Tesla Inc., is sparking concerns around job security.
This is not financial advice, silly.
Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Turned up to work and went to start my day. Was barely late, like 9:08. So took my coffee break. Then I got hungry, so I just stopped by the free buffet. But then to my dismay, I heard somebody say, Attention, human, You have lost, you have not met your quota. Pack your belongings in a box, now it's over. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. But I'm in management. I work hard every day. I need these benefits. Health and 401k. How could they do this shit though? Where will I trade my crypto? I had a second monitor for Twitter. Where will it go? Somebody please stop the bus. I mean, not the fuss, but there's lots of us. And now you say you won't pay me to play ping pong because Optimus. I mean, who employs a damn humanoid? Some new droid for you to exploit. Deploy to destroy your human droid. No lunch breaks, great. Get a few deployed. Your time is up. Human inferior to me. I'll take it from here. You're relieved of your duty. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. It's okay, human, please don't cry. You can always go and become a Twitter thread guy. Make pretty pictures with Midjourney on your new PC. Or make some YouTube videos about ChatGPT. Sucker. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got.